Chapter 14:22. The ninth heaven, near the source of the immortal. 3 tall god fiends sat cross-legged in 3 directions, guarding the immortal source. Emperor of Heaven Reverse, Emperor Dong Huang, and Emperor Ren Huang. Among the 9 sovereigns and 1 emperor, these 3 were the best. Their combat strength was unparalleled. All of them were top-notch emperors. At this moment, the 3 of them kept silent. After a while, Emperor Dong Huang suddenly said, Fong Ping said that part of the energy he borrowed came from the 3 emperors. Dong Huang's expression was calm, yet he revealed a wisp of a playful expression. The 3 emperors. When the 3 emperors died, their corpses exploded. How many people collected the corpses? Emperor Dong Huang was no longer calm. He smiled. I remember Do collected some. Yang suddenly appeared and took some as well. Chiong didn't care about this. Oh, gee, I think you took some as well. Emperor Ren Huang chuckled. How? You are making wild guesses. Be careful not to fall into Fong Ping's trap. Plus, what method could I use to train Fong Ping to this level so quickly? He did not have the capability. Emperor Dong Huang snorted. Gee, no need to be so humble. Brother Hao, you have overestimated me. Overestimated? That's not necessarily true. Emperor Dong Huang looked at him and mumbled. Today, some things have come to light, haven't they? Back then, something happened to the source of the immortal. It was supposed to stop the source from developing, so that we would have enough time to solve the problem. But what happened? Emperor Dong Huang said coldly. In the end, the source of the immortal had a huge problem. The source of the immortal was tampered with. The energy that was no longer leaking started to leak. Is it possible to say that it has nothing to do with Brother Do? Emperor Dong Huang looked at Emperor Ren Huang. Not only Brother Do, gee, did you not get involved? He had come to a conclusion. Back then, there were people guarding the source of the immortal, but there was still a problem. Someone tampered with it. Who did it? Brother Do, gee, Hong, the 3 of you must have done something. Emperor Dong Huang sneered. Brother Do did it for your Tao of energy. Hong did it for transcendence. Gee, what did you do it for? You destroyed the source of the immortal and ruined Celestial Emperor's plan. You ruined Zhan's plan. You made the problem of the source unsolvable. All the powerhouses of the immortal were trapped. The human emperor smiled. Brother Hao, why are you so sure that I did something? In the past, I was not the only one guarding the immortal origin. Everyone was guarding it. The human emperor said playfully, Brother Hao, didn't you join the battle too? Celestial Dharch wanted Brother Hao to plug the hole, and Zhan also wanted you to plug the hole. You agreed so readily, but in the end, you still took advantage of the situation and attacked Celestial Dharch and Zhan. On the other side, Heavenly Emperor Reverse, who had been silent all this while, said softly at this moment, Let's not talk about anything else now and focus on Fong Ping. What is the purpose of Fong Ping's existence? The Emperor of Heaven Reverse said softly. In the 3 realms, some people are here to fix the flaw of the origin. Some are here to transcend. Some are here for seeds. What about Fong Ping? Emperor of Heaven Reverse said slowly, Fong Ping's existence is to protect the human race. However, was he needed to protect the human race? With Martial King Zhang Tao and Heavenly King subduing King, Fong Ping should not have appeared. His appearance had strengthened the human race, but it had also put some people in danger. Whose chess piece is he? According to Li Zhu's guess, Qin Fengqing was protecting the seed. Emperor of Heaven Reverse was also protecting the seed. The purpose of Heavenly King subduing's existence should be to protect the Sun God for the peace of the human race. Martial King subduing's existence might be to lure the seed out. Among the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors, some were here for the origin, some for the seed. Then, what was the purpose of Fang Ping's existence? Fang Ping, who had broken through 9 levels, was still unquestioned. They seemed to be letting him develop as he pleased. Whose arrangement was this? The emperor's side. Fang Ping is a variable. I thought he was the seed's choice to save itself. Now, it seems that it is not so. That's right. Emperor of Heaven reverse laughed. Then, is his purpose to create trouble, to protect the human race? At this moment, Emperor Dongwang smiled, faintly. Do you think it was the human race's own consciousness that created Fang Ping? There were too many chess players in the 3 realms. Among them, the human race occupied an important position. Then, did the human race give birth to Fang Ping in order to save themselves? Speaking of the human race, gee, does this have nothing to do with you? The emperor could not help but laugh. It really has nothing to do with me. As I said, I don't have the ability to cultivate Fang Ping. He is not my chess piece. Emperor Dongwang did not deny it, but he still said coldly, even if he has nothing to do with you, I'm afraid Yang and Zhen are involved with you. At this point, Emperor Donghuang was not stupid. He had guessed something. Yang, Zhen, and Ji might all be on the same side. The person who attacked earlier had some seed aura. In this case, the 4 of them might all be on the same side. Which side were they on? The seed side. Celestial Emperor, Qiong, and the others were on the same side. First, they wanted to repair the origin. Second, they wanted to transcend. As for Emperor North and Emperor West, they had similar goals. However, there was no obvious division between them. They simply wanted to become stronger. As for Dou, he might have his own thoughts. Replace Celestial Emperor, replace the origin, forge the path of energy, and turn the 3 realms into a combat realm. This possibility was not small. As for Fang Ping, at this moment, Emperor Donghuang did not suspect the emperor, but Dou, he might be the backup plan of Celestial Emperor Reverse. Celestial Emperor Reverse was unpredictable. Many years ago, he was the one who competed with Celestial Emperor and Yang God. He was even stronger than Qiong and Hao. He had been on the beginner path. Later on, he did not follow the rules and followed the path of origin. Instead, he created the path of energy. If there were 3 giants in the 3 realms, apart from Celestial Emperor and Yang God, the other one would not be Emperor Shenhuang, but Dou. Emperor Donghuang calculated the power of the 3 emperors. Did they have to be corpses? Couldn't they be corpses when they were alive? The 3 emperors trusted Dou and regarded him as their elder brother. When they were alive, they often talked to Dou, and Dou often gave them pointers. Could Dou not collect the power of the 3 emperors? Even if he could not collect it, maybe he could make it himself. Fang Ping. Dou wanted to take the path of energy and replace the path of origin. It was in his interest to turn people into variables and disrupt the 3 realms. He even hoped that Fang Ping would destroy the path of origin and the beginner path. From then on, the 3 realms would embark on the path of energy. Was it Dou? Emperor Donghuang guessed. He had some guesses about Emperor Donghuang's purpose, but Emperor Heaven Reverse was too mysterious. Even if he was also an ancient beginner, he did not know much about Emperor Heaven Reverse. However, if he listed all the people, Emperor Heaven Reverse was the most suspicious. At this moment, Emperor Donghuang suddenly said, "The small world that Yang God created in the past was destroyed, but was it really destroyed? Could Fang Ping really be one of the people who walked out of it?" Yang God. Emperor Donghuang's gaze changed. Was it Dou or Yang God? Did Fang Ping walk out of that small world? Emperor Donghuang thought for a while and said lightly, "That small world is actually not perfect. not long after the Yang God was created, Celestial Emperor discovered it. He knew that Celestial Emperor wanted to replace the three realms' origin and destroyed that small world. It should have been completely destroyed back then. Even if someone did survive, it should have happened a long time ago, not now. I think someone is trying to confuse us, deliberately leading Fong Ping to the Yang God. This was his speculation. Thinking of this, he looked at Emperor Heaven Reverse again. That person might be Emperor Heaven Reverse. Fong Ping did not appear early. He appeared very late. Then there were only 3 people who had the time and opportunity to do this. No, 4 people. Yang God, Emperor Heaven Reverse, Earthly Sovereign, and Divine Sovereign. While the others were trapped, the 4 of them could still move around. Then, could it be that these 4 people secretly orchestrated something to create Fong Ping? His target of suspicion was once again Emperor Heaven Reverse. Emperor Heaven Reverse, on the other hand, spoke very little at this moment. The 3 of them fell into silence. As for what speculation and what thoughts they had, only they themselves knew. While they were making their own guesses, the feng shui list was updated again. Emperor list, 13th. Heavenly King subduing, 50 to 70 million, 14th. Devil King Fong Ping, 40 to 60 million, 15th. Qin Feng Qing, 4,000 dash. 16th. Unknown, suspected to be Fong Ping's ally, suspected to be Broken 9. Whether he exists or not, doubtful. What a strange list. Very strange. The strength of the 4 people at the bottom was uncertain, including Heavenly King subduing. The gap was more than 20 million calories. And Fong Ping was the same. The 15th Qin Feng Qing was also a question mark, which meant that Taoist Feng Yun could not confirm his identity. The 16th person was Taoist Feng Yun's own speculation. That day, he was in the Forbidden Sea. He sensed something different, but could not trace it. He was not sure if this Broken 9 existed, but he guessed that it did. Hence, this strange feng shui list was created. There were suddenly 3 more people on the Emperor list. Not 1, but 3. This shocked everyone again. It was not Fong Ping and the guy who might be Qin Feng Qing, but the last one, mysterious, representing the unknown and fear. Fong Ping had a backup plan. He had a helper of Broken 9. Who was it? In the 3 realms, many ancient martial artists were guessing, but they could not confirm the target. Study boy. Not many people thought about him. Back then, he was not well known. Jean was just a study boy, although there were few people around Jean, and the study boy was Jean's descendant. The study boy was not strong back then. He was not even a heavenly king. Not many people noticed the study boy. So, who was this unknown powerhouse now? Since Taoist Feng Yun had made a list based on the accuracy of Taoist Feng Yun's list in the past, the possibility of this person's existence was very high. There was really another existence of Broken 9 in the 3 realms. Everyone was guessing. Some guessed that he might be some ancient beginner martial artists. Some guessed that he might be a disciple of one of the emperors back then, hiding in secret. The Emperor list had changed greatly. The Broken 8 list had also changed greatly. First, God Creation 2nd, Hong Kuan 3rd, Hong Yu 4th, Nether God 5th, Monster Emperor 6th, Feng 7th, Tengu 8th, Heavenly Arm 9th, Zhang Tao 10th, Longevity Sword. This was yet another unexpected result. Among the top 10, other than the dead Fist God and Fong Ping, who had entered Broken 9, someone else was missing. Tian Chun. Yes, Tian Chun was missing. Was he dead? No. Since he was not dead, where was Tian Chun? Looking down the feng shui list, someone saw Tian Chun at the bottom of the Broken 7 list. They were shocked. What was going on? Soon, someone connected it to Fong Ping's ever-changing strength. 40 million, 60 million. In their hearts, they gradually had some guesses. Tian Chen's disappearance was actually not a big deal. King Wu and Longevity's sword entered the top 10, but everyone still could not understand it. How was it possible? How could these two enter the top 10, especially Longevity's sword, who was first in the Saint realm previously? In the blink of an eye, he entered the top 10 after breaking 8. It was somewhat unbelievable. The three realms was shaken again. Congratulations, Prince! While the three realms was shaken, someone scolded, "Congratulations, my ass!" Celestial Fate could not help but scold. The Palm Imprint Envoy had entered broken 8. Zhang Tao entered the top 10 after breaking 8. And Azura God, who was ranked 3rd, was killed a few days ago. He, who was ranked 4th after breaking 7, did not do anything, but he was ranked 1st after breaking 7. First without doing anything. He was truly ranked 1st without doing anything. In this battle, the others had more or less participated. He did not care at all and did not participate. He knew that it was not a good thing, so he did not go out at all. In the end, he was ranked 1st after breaking 7. This was too obvious. At this moment, Shang Nan was still congratulating him. Celestial Fate almost wanted to hammer him to death. How did he become 1st after breaking 7? He was still in a daze. How did he become 1st? Celestial Fate said angrily, "Not many people noticed me before. Now, I'm 1st after breaking 7. How could no one notice? No matter how low his presence was, he was still 1st. Obviously, a lot of people probably only remembered him now. Celestial Fate was extremely depressed. He did not need it. Seriously, Fang Ping, why did you kill Azura God? Otherwise, even if he was ranked 2nd now, he would still be stronger than 1st. He was too innocent. Below, Sheng Nan and Sheng Hong were a little helpless. But soon, Celestial Fate suddenly heaved a sigh of relief. Tian Chen's ranking suddenly dropped. Maybe his Dao was stripped away. It's very likely that Fang Ping took it. If that's the case, he probably won't be interested in breaking 7. Forget it, it's not a big deal. He looked past it. Tian Chen's Dao might have been taken away by Fang Ping. He was a peak powerhouse who had broken 8. What was he who had broken 7? Fang Ping probably wouldn't be interested. If that was the case, he would not argue with Daoist Fengyun. That bastard. Why did he rank himself 1st? Sheng Hong was speechless. He thought for a while and said, "Prince, is Western Palace still wandering outside? Right now, the three realms are in turmoil. After all, we still cultivate the Tao of Origins. If we don't participate in the upcoming Battle of Origins, we might die in our sleep." Could he not fight? Sheng Hong felt that it was impossible. If he fought for it, there would still be hope. If he didn't fight, he might really die in his sleep. Of course, they would not fall asleep. Heaven's Extremity said, snappily, "How are we supposed to compete? Now, people are dying every day in the three realms. A large number of people have died when breaking through 9. A large number have died when breaking through 8. Could it be that you want me to die? What does breaking 7 count for in the three realms?" But no buts. Heaven's Limit impatiently interrupted him and said in a somewhat depressed tone, "I don't know what the old man is doing. Others are plotting against him, but he is also plotting against them. The key is that others are powerful. But what about him? Now, he's still involved in this matter. I have no idea what he's trying to do." Over at Emperor West Side, Celestial Pole didn't know what was going on. It was already very strange when the 9 clones entered the mystic realm. This time, it was even stranger. Previously, when the old man's doppelganger descended to the 9th heaven, he actually contacted the Western Imperial Palace and asked the Celestial Pole to come out. Come out my ass. Even Heaven's Fate couldn't be bothered with him. So I didn't want to court death. What was that old man trying to do? Right now, even Celestial Pole couldn't understand it. Emperor Shi's ranking in the Emperor ranking wasn't high. He couldn't understand it, and he was too lazy to try. It was right not to go out. Let them fight. Fight until the sky fell, and the earth cracked. As long as the origin didn't explode, he wouldn't die. If he didn't die, he might even be able to pick up the first position in the future. If he died, then there would be nothing left. Celestial Pole was too lazy to go out. Fong Ping didn't really care about the changes in the wind and cloud list. Right now, he was more concerned about the information he had just received. Very interesting. Interesting enough to make Fong Ping wonder if Taoist Feng Yun was fooling him. This guy really sent him information. Divine Emperor, God Creation Envoy Do, Hong Quan Dong Huang, Tengu, Wang Jinyang Earthly Emperor, Palm Print, Hong Yu, Li Zhu Human Emperor, Weapon Master, dead, King Wu North Emperor, Demon Emperor, Moon Spirit, Li Hansong Beast Emperor, Demon Emperor, Wan West Emperor, Sherpa, Feng, Li Zhu Emperor Nan, Hong Yu, King Qian, King Genth corresponding targets of the emperors. Some were not certain, but mixed with some uncertainty. In addition, there were some rising powerhouses who might also become their targets. There was one point that was a little surprising. Spirit Emperor didn't. This woman actually didn't have any chess pieces. He did not know whether Taoist Feng Yun did not find out or Spirit Emperor really did not make arrangements. Of course, it could also be that the arrangements were too deep that no one found out. Lindsay, Fong Ping, was also not sure. Powerhouses who had broken 8 were almost all targeted, except for the few beginner martial artists. The powerhouses who took the remains of the 3 emperors back, then Emperor, Emperor of Heaven Reverse, Sun God, according to the information given by Taoist Feng Yun. When the 3 emperors died back then, the ones who took their remains seemed to be these 3. Then, did Fong Ping's strength come from these 3 people? In that case, it seemed that these 3 people had been targeted. However, Fong Ping glanced at it and did not pay much attention. His goal was not to find out who was behind it. Actually, it was very difficult to find out who the system belonged to. It could not even be found out at all. What he needed was an internal conflict among the emperors. This information excluded the Divine Emperor and Celestial Emperor, including Dong Huang. However, was the situation like this? That was hard to say. However, the chess pieces of the emperors were somewhat interesting. The interesting one was actually the human emperor, the weapon master, King Wu. The weapon master had already died, and the King Wu had only just risen. In that case, the human emperor had arranged for a weapon master before, but the weapon master had been killed before and only revived afterward. In that case, all these years, the human emperor actually did not make any arrangements. He could totally not interfere in anything. Anyway, his chess pieces were only the weapon master who was about to be revived. What did other people's matters have to do with him? That human emperor was in a hurry to show himself again and again. What was he trying to do? Why did he bring the human emperor's sword to the human world? Why did the disciples under the human emperor enter the patrol? Why did Yuan Gang and the others keep jumping around after reviving? He just had to wait. What the human emperor needed to do was to wait for the weapon master to revive. Human emperor, Fong Ping laughed. This guy was getting more and more interesting. He did not know what exactly he was trying to do. He lacked something to prove all this. However, he felt that the human emperor might not be on the same side as the other emperors. He seemed to be more willing for the 3 realms to be more chaotic, more willing for the emperors to be more chaotic. The few times he descended, the human emperor was always a bystander. In ancient times, he was also a disruptor. Back then, if Heavenly Emperor Zhan had joined forces with Earthly Emperor, they might have rewritten history. In the end, he destroyed it. Was it good for him? Probably not. Human Emperor, King Marshal, Fong Ping murmured. He actually felt that the human emperor was not the ally of the human race. Fong Ping felt that there was still a battle between the human emperor and King Marshall. This was the feeling. The human emperor ruled the human world, and King Marshall walked the path of the human emperor. These two might erupt into conflict. Did the human emperor not know? He knew. Back then at Heavenly Wood, Fong Ping saw the conversation between the human emperor and earthly emperor. The title of human emperor would bring trouble. What role did you play? Fong Ping murmured. The relationship within the emperors seemed to be more complicated than he thought. Originally, in his opinion, the emperors only had two goals. First, detachment. Second, to solve the source of trouble. However, now it seemed that there might be some inside story. Some people seemed to not want to detach, nor did they want to solve the source of trouble. They just wanted to cause trouble, to be a sh*T stirrer, like the human emperor. This guy was a sh*T stirrer. If Fong Ping was the sh*T stirrer of the three realms, then the human emperor was the sh*T stirrer among the emperors. He made the emperors restless. Fong Ping took the information and looked at it again and again. Very soon, the material was crushed. At this moment, Fong Ping was in the sky above Sun City. He was observing. Was there any abnormality in Sun City? When he appeared in Sun City, the first place he appeared was here. Was there a passageway that connected to that small world here? Now, Fong Ping felt that the earth he had lived on was not an illusion, nor did it not exist. It might really exist. That world was projecting this side of the world. It had been projecting this side of the world all along. Therefore, it developed according to Earth's current trajectory. Of course, martial arts were excluded. If it could develop along with Earth's development, it meant that the other side of the world might have always existed and been operating. 5,000 years of Huaxia's history. 5,000 years. Fong Ping murmured in his heart. 5,000 years. This was the history of civilization on the earth he lived on. Although the earth in his previous life had humans born very, very early, the true records were only from 5,000 years ago. This meant that everything before that might not have existed. The other side of the world only existed from 5,000 years ago. 5,000 years ago, during the era of the earthly emperor god dynasty, if the other side of the world existed, then it might have been projected from 5,000 years ago. The history before this was vague and unclear. On the earth in this life, not to mention 5,000 years ago, even the history of 40,000 years ago had been recorded. There were still people alive. The existence of a prehistoric civilization was unclear. 5,000 years ago, there were only a few people who had the ability to create a small world. And the person who created this small world might have placed the small world here. Why did he choose Sun City? Is that the other side of the world projected by the seed? If I find it, can I integrate that world and engulf it to make myself stronger? Fong Ping came to Sun City to find this small world. He guessed that it should be a world projected by the seed. And it was even stronger because it was more real. It would definitely be stronger than the mystic realm from before. The seed projection would be stronger. If he found it and engulfed the seed projection directly, his strength might increase greatly. I've integrated some cities, but it still can't reach my expectations. If I engulf this small world, I might gain more. Where's the entrance? Fong Ping's mentality scanned inch by inch. He knocked on the cat's head and laughed. Look carefully. If you find it, we'll eat and drink well. I think this side of the world exists. The entrance is nearby. That was what he thought. He even suspected that the seed's true body was here. If it was, then that world might be inside the seed's true body. If he caught the seed directly, even if Fong Ping did not engulf the seed, he would still throw it out. You emperors can fight however you want. Your lives and deaths have nothing to do with the humans, nothing to do with me. Weren't they after the seed? Whether you engulf the transcendence or replenish the origin, the seed's power would definitely be able to do it. When that time comes, it would have nothing to do with the humans. That was why he planned to look carefully in Sun City this time. If he could not find it, it meant that the possibility of it being the seed's true body was higher, because the projection might not be able to hide from him and the cat. Both of them were considered emperors in the past. They would not be unable to find even the slightest clue unless the other party's strength was much stronger than his. P.S. I'm too busy today. I can't write smoothly. I won't continue writing lest I mess up the rhythm. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival. Everyone, 9 Heaven's Divine Emperor. Chapter 1423. Sun City. Fong Ping and the old cat's mentality swept through, not even letting the dust escape. However, he still couldn't find anything. Sun City. Fong Ping was not the first to look for it. Some emperors even secretly sent their avatars to investigate. Some people guessed that the Yang god was here. However, even the monarch could not find anything. Although Fong Ping had also probed for a long time, he did not find anything. You really didn't. Is it not there, or is the seed there? Fong Ping mumbled in his heart. There were only 2 possibilities if he could not find it. Either it didn't exist, or its power level was so high that he couldn't detect it. If it was the latter, it meant that there was indeed a huge problem with Yang City. The seed's true body was nearby. The cat tilted its head and looked at Fong Ping. It blinked and said, "Liar, I can't find it. Are you still looking? Why don't we go back to eat first?" Bang! Fong Ping gave it a slap. His expression was a little dark. Recently, this cat had been wanting to eat. "Eat your head." The cat felt wronged and said pitifully, "If I don't eat it now, I won't be able to eat it when I'm killed in the future." Well, what he said actually made sense. Fong Ping also knew that the great battle was approaching. Previously, Heavenly Emperor Zhan had said 3 months. After that, he shot an arrow. How long could this arrow hold them back? 1 month? 2 months? Almost a month had passed. How long would it take for the boundary wall to shatter? Soon. Fong Ping could not waste too much time in Sun City. Since he could not find it, Fong Ping could only continue on his way and continue integrating the various cities. He turned back to look at Sun City once more. His eyes flickered for a moment, and he took to the skies and left. Not long after Fong Ping left, a silhouette came tearing through the void. Heavenly King Zhen looked down at Yang City and murmured, "Teacher, are you here? Is the Yang spirit here? What had the Yang god been doing all these years?" Many things seemed to be related to the Yang spirit, but they also seemed to have nothing to do with him. Was Qin Feng Qin related to the Yang spirit? It felt like it, but it wasn't quite the same. Was Fong Ping related to the sun god? It felt like it, but it also felt like it wasn't. The Yang spirit seemed to have always existed, but it also seemed not to exist at all. Everything was just the imagination and speculation of others. The strongest novice martial artist seemed to have disappeared from this world a long time ago. He no longer existed in this world. Where did he go? If Fong Ping suspected that there was something wrong with Sun City, how could the Heavenly King of Suppression not be suspicious? However, there was no evidence to prove that the Yang spirit was here. "Teacher, it doesn't matter if you're here or not. The world barrier is about to shatter. I still hope that teacher can stand out and fight alongside me. I don't want to fight to the death with teacher tomorrow." Heavenly King Zhen looked at Yang City with a complicated expression. 8,000 years ago, Master asked me to oversee the human world. For 8,000 years, I never left the human world. I watched the ups and downs of the world, watched the human race struggle for survival, until the new martial revolution, 8,000 years. With a sigh, The heavenly king suppressing heavenly king became even more complicated. He had been in the human world for a full 8,000 years. As the winds and clouds rose and fell, countless geniuses passed away. In the past 100 years of new martial arts, the human race had fought countless battles and suffered countless casualties. He had been watching silently. Now that the human race was on the brink of extinction, where should he go? Teacher, I'll wait for you. Leaving behind these words, the subduing heavenly king tore through the air and left. He did not know if the Yang god was here, but he guessed that it should be related to Yang City. Sun City in the sea, on an island. The void trembled. In the next moment, the young man resting on the island opened his eyes and attacked with his spear. The spear pierced through the void, causing it to explode. Destroy. Why do you have to do this? The young man's eyes were cold. I will not be destroyed. Yes and no. Laughter could be heard. In the next moment, a person appeared. The figure was illusory, and his appearance could not be seen clearly. Hiding your head and showing your tail, what a despicable person. The young man shouted coldly. The long spear erupted with a scorching light, and he attacked again. Clang! A crisp sound was heard. The illusory figure held the long spear with one hand. Just as he was about to speak, the long spear turned into a stream of water. Like a poisonous snake, the tip of the spear instantly pierced the face of the illusory figure. Bang! The long spear was instantly repelled. The illusory figure smiled and said, "You're no match for me. Although you've broken 7 times, it's still not enough. Can we talk now?" Yao Chengjun retracted his spear and retreated 100 meters. He said coldly, "If you want to talk, tell me your identity." Which of the 9 emperors was it? Or the celestial Thearcha's Yang god? It doesn't matter whether I know or not. The illusory figure smiled. This time, you found the Heaven Destroyer Palace. I think you know a lot of things. Destroy was the wisest of the 3 emperors. He should have left many things in the Heaven Destroyer Palace. There are some things that you should be clear about. Yao Chengjun did not say a word. The illusory figure said again, "The 3 emperors being killed is actually inevitable, isn't it?" Yao Chengjun said coldly, "Inevitable? The 3 emperors are to be blamed for not being strong enough. Zhan is to be blamed for being too soft-hearted. Otherwise, there would be no inevitability. So you do know." The illusory figure smiled. "If that's the case, then you should also understand that once the war starts, you, Li Hansong, and Wang Jinyang will die. I've already put that aside." Yao Chengjun was extremely calm. "If that's all you want to say, you can get lost. Your temper is still so bad." The illusory figure smiled. "The great Tao of the 3 emperors is opportunistic. If the 9 emperors are orthodox, the 3 emperors are demonic. The celestial emperor has disciples. The 9 emperors are counted, and so is Doji. Only the 3 emperors are not counted." Yao Chengjun sneered. "No need. The 3 emperors don't need celestial emperor to clear their names." The illusory figure smiled. "I know you don't care, but celestial emperor cares. The 9 emperors cares. Everyone else cares. Why can't the 9 emperors transcend and be forced to fill the hole? But the 3 emperors don't." Celestial emperor plotted against the 9 emperors, but did not expect the 3 emperors to take the wrong path. However, gains and losses are sometimes in a small area. The 3 emperors don't need to be affected by the chaos of the source. At worst, they can cut off their paths to protect themselves. But the 9 emperors can't. The illusory figure sighed. "This is the path of your death. The 9 emperors don't want you to live, and neither does celestial emperor. The birth of the emperors is to mend the hole in the source. Although Celestial Emperor said there were some deviations, it was already close to success, but the three emperors walked different paths, causing Celestial Emperor's plan to go up in flames. Yao Qingjun, do you think the three emperors' deaths are inevitable? Yao Qingjun said coldly, it's because you people schemed for eternity that the problem became more and more serious. In the past, if Celestial Emperor had informed us of the source's flaw earlier, how could the situation of the whole becoming bigger and bigger? You want to obtain power and steal the source fruit, but you don't want to bear the responsibility. How can it be so simple? Taking a shortcut, you naturally have to bear the consequences. You people are all irresponsible people. The three emperors also disdain to be associated with you. The illusory figure chuckled. Is the three emperors' power not considered stolen? However, the three emperors are willing to return it. That's enough. Yao Qingjun said coldly, what are you trying to say? Is it just to debate with me whether the three emperors are right or wrong? The illusory figure said softly, Celestial Emperor actually wanted to solve these problems in the past. Unfortunately, he failed at the last moment. You know the reason? For 10,000 years, Celestial Emperor has always wanted to solve the problem of the source. Whether it is the three emperors being destroyed or the immortal source, it is all to solve the problem of the source. Celestial Emperor never gave up. Even completing the Tao of the source and completing the Tao tree are all to perfect the Tao of the source, to let the Tao of the source shine with vitality again, not to completely extinguish it. Since that's the case, the 9 emperors are Cancer, and the 3 emperors even more so. The 9 emperors have already fallen into the trap, but the 3 emperors are hidden very deeply. So the 3 emperors must die, and so must their reincarnations. Cut off our Tao. Yao Qingjun sneered. You can't find the Tao passed down by the 3 emperors, unless we are willing. Otherwise, can you cut it off? That's hard to say. The illusory figure laughed. I'm afraid you still don't know about Tianqin. The Tianqin Great Tao was seized by Fang Ping. He was the protector of the cat, but he ended up like this. It should be for the 3 of you. Yao Qingjun frowned. You opened up another passage in the source. The source can't be closed. The loopholes and flaws have always been there. The illusory figure laughed. Will Celestial Emperor let you continue? The Tao that the 9 emperors opened up in the past can be traced. After that, the 3 gates were forged to seal the Tao. Everything is under Celestial Emperor's control. Although the 3 emperors are dead, they are not dead. The Tao is still there. Celestial Emperor will not sit back and do nothing. The 9 emperors will not either. Why are we trapped in the source while the 3 emperors can be free? The illusory figure's voice was cold. So, there was the death of the 3 emperors. Gee, and the others killed the 3 emperors not only because you want to destroy the origin of the imperial cultivators, but also because of jealousy. Jealousy is also an original sin. Jealousy. The 9 emperors were extremely jealous. This was different from what Fang Ping and the others understood. In everyone's view, the 9 emperors were incomplete emperors. They were not as omnipotent as the 9 emperors. The 9 emperors had always wanted to become emperors, but now the illusory figure said that the 9 emperors were extremely jealous. So there was the chaos in the heavenly realm and the death of the 3 emperors. Yao Qingjun did not seem surprised. He sneered. So what? The 3 emperors are dead, but the Tao is still there. If Celestial Emperor is capable, then break these 3 Tao. If the 3 Tao are not broken, it can only mean that you are too incompetent. The illusory figure laughed. Yes, we didn't find the opportunity back then. It was also related to the 9 emperors' disunity. But now, we won't give you another chance. Tianqin's matter had already shown that Celestial Emperor had begun to solve the problem of the 3 emperors. Tianchun should have a treasure in his hands to explore the Tao of the three emperors. Otherwise, Celestial Emperor would not have given him the task. Not only that, the existence of the cat is also a disaster. The Tao of the three emperors may not be discovered by others, but what about the cat? The cat that roams the source really can't find the location of your true Tao? Yao Qingjun sneered. Are you trying to sow discord? Sow discord. The illusory figure said indifferently, it's not sowing discord, it's the truth. In the past, Tianchun raised the cat to find your Tao. It was one of his goals. Unfortunately, Tianchun fell halfway. Fortunately, spirit continued to take over. The cat had a good relationship. Originally, at that time, the cat should have been allowed to find and break the Tao. Yao Qingjun frowned. The illusory figure said again, Tianchun's confidence is actually also from the cat, isn't it? But now it seems that the cat seems to have forgotten a lot of things. I'm afraid that Tianchun felt uncertain, so he gave up this path. What are you trying to say? Yao Qingjun was a little impatient. He shouted coldly, if you don't say it, I'm leaving. Don't worry. The illusory figure smiled. The three emperors will die, and the Tao will also be broken, and it may eventually be broken in the hands of the cat, and the cat will inevitably meet a tragic end. The purpose of its existence is to solve some problems. It is the backup of Celestial Emperor. The defect of the source, the hidden danger of the three gates, may ultimately be solved by the cat. The three emperors die. The cat dies. No one can escape this disaster. Yao Qingjun looked at him, his expression darkening. So, the biggest disaster of the three realms is actually not the 9 emperors. The 9 emperors is only in the same boat as you. The 9 emperors is only seeking survival, to live freely. The illusory figure sighed. Not now, like a prisoner, imprisoned in the source, to become Celestial Emperor's material to repair the source. So the 9 emperors wants to transcend, to escape. You and I, in fact, have the same goal. Yao Qingjun sneered. Same goal? Ridiculous. You talk a lot of nonsense. If you don't say it, then don't. Simple. The 3 emperors will cooperate with us. Us, not me. The illusory figure did not know if he was trying to mislead them. At this moment, he smiled. The Tao of the 3 emperors runs through the source. Celestial Emperor cannot control the entire source without the land of the 3 gates, and cannot detect the location of the Tao of the 3 emperors. If the Tao of the 3 emperors can run through at the same time, gathering the Tao of the 3 emperors, we can escape. As long as someone fills in the gaps, we can migrate our Tao and no longer be controlled by Celestial Emperor. At that time, we will help you deal with Celestial Emperor. Our escape is also helping you. As for the threat of the source, we can slowly solve it. We don't have to slaughter the human race. Yao Qingjun understood and sneered. You want the 3 of us to provide a way for you to escape? You can say that. In your dreams. Yao Qingjun, must you be so decisive? The illusory figure smiled. The Tao of War actually already has some clues. Now it is being locked on. I believe it will be discovered soon. I don't think you and Li Hansong's Tao will be hidden for too long. While it has not been discovered, cooperate now, and it will benefit both sides. If Celestial Emperor really succeeds, then it will be trouble for all living beings in the 3 realms. The illusory figure said again, You know a lot, but there are some things that you may not know or don't know the truth. Was it really unintentional for Celestial Emperor to shatter the source back then? All these years, many things have proved that in fact, the shattering of the source 30,000 years ago was Celestial Emperor's plot. At that time, he probably could not control the source. Today, 30,000 years later, if Celestial Emperor were to re-establish himself after being destroyed and gather the source again, All living beings in the three realms will have to crawl under Celestial Emperor's feet. They will never be able to escape Celestial Emperor's control again. The Three Realms plot, the Three Realms crisis, seems to be caused by the Nine Emperors, but in reality, it was all caused by Celestial Emperor. Celestial Emperor is the main culprit. Since you have inherited annihilations, can't you see it? Yao Qingjun said coldly. Even if Celestial Emperor is the mastermind, you are also accomplices. You should all be killed. This world is not only black and white. We are also seeking survival. Do you think Fang Ping should be killed? He has killed so many people. You can say that Fang Ping is seeking survival. But what about us? The illusory figure side. You can beautify Fang Ping's killing, but have we killed as many people as Fang Ping? Even though we have laid out a plan, the people who have truly died because of us are not many. The crisis of the human race was not caused by the Nine Emperors, or rather, not all of them caused it. The seed has always been a secret, but it was revealed by Hongyu in the past. Hongyu does not represent the Nine Emperors. This caused the subsequent crisis of the human race. Millions of people died. Is this also the Nine Emperors' fault? The Nine Emperors have never thought of using this method to force the human race to do anything. Yao Qingjun did not speak. He just wanted to clear his name. Was it not the Emperor's order that Hongyu revealed the seed of rebirth? Otherwise, how would Hongyu know? Seeing this, the illusory figure said again, "All right, even if we don't cooperate, do you think the human race can win? Do you really think Fang Ping can win? He can't even take care of himself, and someone is plotting against him in the dark. It's hard to say if he can survive until the big battle. Even if he can, the next day, Fang Ping will definitely be the first kill target for all parties. Can he resist the Nine Emperors? Can he resist Celestial Emperor? Cooperation is the only way out for both parties. Then you should look for Fang Ping." Yao Qingjun was not stupid. The other party did not look for Fang Ping, but him. Things were not that simple. Fang Ping, he is too hostile towards us. He won't believe anything we say. Moreover, the cat is right beside him. Do you really think the cat can be trusted? That's why I looked for you this time, because you are not by Fang Ping's side. If we really want to cooperate, there is no need to reveal this to Fang Ping. It's not to hide it from Fang Ping, it's to hide it from the cat. Even if the cat won't reveal it, the cat is actually the Celestial Emperor's pawn. The Celestial Emperor might be able to monitor everything. If not, the Celestial Emperor has been asleep for tens of thousands of years and has no control over the three realms. Do you think he will be at ease? Tianchun is not the Celestial Emperor's only arrangement. The cat is. You want me to hide it from Fang Ping? It's not hiding it. I just don't want the Celestial Emperor to know. It's best not to tell the others either. The immortal origin monitors everywhere. Unless they leave the immortal origin, Yu Wang Jinyang and Li Hansong can all know. The three reincarnations of the three emperors are the ones who have transcended. If the others know, they might be discovered. The illusory figure said sincerely, "This matter will not harm you, only benefit you. All you need to do is to provide us with the location of the three realms, allowing us to break free from the origin. In fact, even without you, we can still do it, but it will be more difficult. However, for 10,000 years, we also have a plan. We can still achieve this step. Mentioning this now is just to make the cooperation between both sides smoother." Yao Qingjun thought for a while, then said after a while, "After you escape, won't you attack the humans and lure out the seeds? If we escape from the origin, it would be best if the seeds can be found, but if not, all the consequences will be borne by the Celestial Emperor alone, not the 9 emperors. When that time comes, there will be no need to destroy the humans, and the Celestial Emperor needs this. In order to stop the Celestial Emperor, we will instead become your help." The illusory figure said softly. These are also the basis of our cooperation. Why me? Yao Qingjun said coldly. If you really want to find the three emperors' reincarnations, Wang Jinyang and Li Hansong are both in the three realms. Why not them? Li Hansong trusts Fang Ping too much. He will tell Fang Ping everything. If Fang Ping knows, can he hide it from the Celestial Emperor? Wang Jinyang. I know. Maybe he wants to bear it himself, but we need the three emperors together, not just one person. He might even hide it from you. How can we cooperate? Only you are the calmest, the most clear-headed. You might be guessing whether the three of you will die. I don't know, I can't guarantee this. Our Tao is too powerful. If we borrow it to travel, it might cause you to die. But maybe this is the best way, isn't it? Otherwise, we will be trapped in the origin, can only be one with the Celestial Emperor. We can only hope to separate us from the Celestial Emperor when we escape. This is a big gamble. If we win, there will be a battle between the 9 emperors and the Celestial Emperor. If we lose, even if we continue to cooperate with the Celestial Emperor after we escape, you will still face the same situation. There is nothing to lose. The illusory figure was very sincere, even mentioning the possibility of the 3 emperors' reincarnations dying. Yao Qingjun looked at the illusory figure, then said after a while, "What makes you think I will agree?" "Because you are a wise man." "Wise man?" Yao Qingjun sneered. "Don't flatter me." "Because Li Hansong won't pay attention to you. Because Wang Jinyang is more rational than you think. So you think I can be roped in, right?" "You can think so. Borrow our Tao. Can you really escape? Then why didn't you borrow the Tao in the past? The 3 emperors might not have refused." "Not at that time." The illusory figure sighed. "At that time. The 3 emperors also hoped to solve the problem of the origin, but their goal was to get the 9 emperors and the Celestial Emperor to return the power together. This is impossible. No one will agree to lose their power. If we borrow the Tao, they will naturally know our goal, just like Yang Shen and the others, taking some power away, and not returning it will only be more troublesome. Will the 3 emperors let us do this?" Yao Qingjun fell into deep thought. After a while, he said again, "After Dou also followed your orthodox Tao of the origin?" "Yes, actually, Dou was schemed by the Celestial Emperor. At first, he also wanted to take the extreme Tao, to open up the Tao of energy, but later the Celestial Emperor sensed the threat of the extreme Tao, so he was forced to take the orthodox Tao of the origin, the gate of the origin of existence. Let me think about it. I have to go back and consult Wang Jinyang and Li Hansong. I can't promise you on their behalf. You can, but I believe you are rational. If you don't remind them, don't tell Fang Ping and the others, the plan may be leaked, and then the cooperation will end. The Celestial Emperor knows about our plan. He will not give us a chance. And you, the Celestial Emperor, will definitely eradicate you." Tianchen failed. "And there are others, whether it is the cat or even the dog, they are all pawns of the Celestial Emperor. You will die prematurely. If you die, no one will know where the 3 Tao is. The threat of the 3 Tao is not as great as you think." As he said that, the illusory figure said again, "Don't trust anyone easily, even King Wu. King Wu may also be the Celestial Emperor's plan." The biggest possibility of King Wu's existence from the beginning was to make the human race submit, to make King Wu the seed of this generation. King Wu will attract the seed, and with King Wu, the seed will have a greater chance of being discovered. This is the confrontation between the Sun God and the Celestial Emperor. King Wu actually represents the Celestial Emperor. And the Sun God also has its own plan. Zhan is the Sun God's disciple. In the end, Zhan and King Wu may have a battle. The fate of the human race is actually not in the hands of King Wu or Zhan. King Wu is the Celestial Emperor's plan. Yao Qingjun looked at the other, his eyes flashing. The illusory figure laughed. "Very likely. Don't think that I'm lying to you or that King Wu is actually a pawn of the Sun God and the celestial emperor concentrating great power on King Wu, letting the seed invest. And King Wu is the only one who can lure the seed out. If the sun god kills him, the celestial emperor will not be able to find the seed. If the celestial emperor captures King Wu, he may be able to find the seed, putting everything in the light. This way, both sides do not need to calculate too much, and it can also make the situation clearer. As for Fang Ping, his existence is actually a variable. Originally, when King Wu appeared, there should not be Fang Ping, but I don't know who Fang Ping was involved in this big show, which led to the frequent accidents. You also don't know who did it? I have a guess, but I'm not sure. The illusory figure laughed. Yao Qingjun, no one knows about our meeting, and I hope that you won't reveal too much. In addition, I'll give you another piece of news. The flaw of the origin has come, and it's time to solve it. If not for this failure, there will be another chance, but it's gone. So this time, everyone will definitely make a move. Definitely. Because everyone has no chance, including the Celestial Emperor. He won't have a next chance. Otherwise, we can still wait. Since we've waited for 10,000 years, we can wait for another 10,000 years. But this time, there really isn't a chance. Why? Your lifespan hasn't come to an end yet. Why, the illusory figure side. Don't you understand? The origin is this 3 realms. The source is this 3 realms. Since you're destroying it, then you should know how small misery was 40,000 years ago. 30,000 years ago, misery suddenly expanded. 10,000 years ago, misery swallowed countless mainlands, becoming the 3 realms' biggest hidden danger. All these years, misery is still constantly eroding. Misery is the symbol of the origin's disaster. After the heavenly court was established, the heavenly realm floated in the sky, suppressing misery on behalf of the celestial emperor. And the result? 10,000 years ago, most of the 3 emperors' corpses merged into misery, and countless powerhouses died, also merged into misery. Don't you understand? Misery is the projection of that flaw. Now the 3 realms are eroded, leaving only the 3 mainlands, the human realm and Chu, but they are getting smaller and smaller. Misery is still continuing to erode. The merging of the 3 emperors' corpses has slowed down the speed of misery's erosion, but it did not last long. The 3 emperors are not enough. Suppressing the origin and filling the sea, the 3 emperors can't do it, neither can we. If we fail again this time, misery will erode the 3 realms, and the 3 realms will completely turn into the sea. The origin will be destroyed. Everything will be destroyed, and heaven and earth will be reopened. Tell me, do you still have a chance? Yao Qingjun was slightly stunned. He really did not know about this matter. Misery. Yao Qingjun looked around and at the surrounding sea, murmuring, misery eroding the 3 realms is the 3 realms' destruction? That's right. The phantom sighed and said, all these years, if not for us suppressing it, misery would have completely devoured the 3 realms. Therefore, there will be no next time. Only this time. If we fail once, it will be the end. I understand, Yao Qingjun said in a low voice. If we agree to cooperate, how should we contact you? There's no need to contact us. On the day the world wall shatters, the 3 Daos will appear, and we will be free. If you don't agree to cooperate, there's no need to do this. It's up to you where to go. After saying that, the phantom gradually dissipated. Yao Qingjun suddenly said, have you really never regretted betraying the heavenly Arch and the 3 emperors? Regret? The void figure's expression carried a bit of ridicule. It laughed and then quickly collapsed. Yao Qingjun, who was left on the spot, had an uncertain expression. Chapter 1424. King Man is invincible. Earth. After Fang Ping had integrated cities everywhere with great fanfare, the 3 realms already knew what Fang Ping was doing, integrating Earth. Although they did not know very clearly At this moment, Fang Ping began to do it openly, and the efficiency was even faster. The humans knew that they needed to acknowledge Fang Ping to make him stronger, smoothly. In this way, the people's hearts were more united. Believe in Fang Ping. Only by believing in Fang Ping could Fang Ping become stronger. Only then could Fang Ping kill strong enemies and let the humans become the final victors of the three realms. Cities appeared in the Source World one after another. The Source World grew bigger and bigger. 1,800 meters, 1,900 meters, 2,000 meters. This range was still expanding. This time, the number of cities integrated by Fang Ping increased greatly. 1 city, 10 cities, 100 cities, the title of King Man had now been recognized by the entire human race. Fighting everywhere, killing everywhere. King martial arts helped the humans defend their land. King Man let the humans open up new frontiers. The effect was very good, so good that it was somewhat beyond Fang Ping's expectations. At the end of June, Fang Ping completed this integration journey this time. Along the way, he absorbed the Beast Emperor's clone crystal and integrated nearly 1,000 cities. It was unexpectedly smooth. At this moment, his source world was like a new world. One city after another appeared out of thin air. Tall buildings stood in great numbers, countless shadows. The source world had changed too much. Wealth, 500 billion points vitality, 25. 3 million calories, 25. 3 million mentality, 197,000 hertz, 197,000 hertz. Source world, 4,600 meters. This was Fang Ping's harvest this time. The source world expanded to 4,600 meters directly. After 1,000 meters, Fang Ping had a significant increase every 1,000 meters. It was similar to the origin path. Every 1,000 meters could increase Fang Ping's increase by almost 10%. After a few times, Fang Ping's current basic vitality was as high as 25 million calories and above. The harvest was greater than expected. His mentality also showed some growth. Although it was not a lot, Fang Ping was already very satisfied. At this point, he could still have such a huge increase at once. The idea of expanding the source was not wrong. His vitality and mentality were not balanced, so Fang Ping did not maintain the force. Until the end of this trip, Fang Ping began to balance and transform. Very soon, there was new progress and breakthrough. Wealth, 500 billion points vitality, 400,000 calories, 22. 5 million spirit, 0 hertz, 225,000 hertz. Force, 2,250 vitality, 45 million calories vitality. Jade bones, 99% with qualitative change of chi and blood. Source world, for 1,600 meters essence amplification. Fake Tao, 40%. Battle technique, chaos vanquishing saber technique, plus 18%. Power control, 99% ultimate outburst. 703890000 cal /711000000 cal. The limit had exceeded 70 million calories. It did not feel like much of an improvement, but in reality, it was because the Tao was broken by another 200 meters that Fang Ping's strength did not increase that much. Tao, Tian Chen's Tao. Fang Ping actually did not plan to keep using it. If he used it again, the great Tao might completely break. Tian Chen would die, and the old cat would not be happy. Moreover, Fang Ping was now considering whether it would be better to seal his origin. A 40% increase in the great Tao might seem like a lot, but in reality, it was just that. If he sealed his origin, would he be able to experience a huge increase in power? He had already begun to compress his Tao, which was at the peak of breaking 8, and was only left with 400 meters. Could it be that he really had to strip away the Tao of breaking 9? If he could not strip away the Tao of breaking 9, then the Tao that represented Tian Chun would be Fang Ping's limit. Unless I use old Zhang's Dao, Fang Ping muttered. Old Zhang's Dao was his original emperor Dao. Fang Ping felt that if he used it, he might preserve more. The key was that he did not want to use old Zhang's Dao. Moreover, the origin Dao might not be reliable. The current Fang Ping did not really trust the origin Dao. There might be problems at critical moments. Then at this moment, should he continue using the Dao or seal his origin? His force had already reached 45 million calories vitality, directly breaking 9. In addition to the combat techniques amplification, it was more than 53 million calories. This was Fang Ping's strength, without using the Dao. Speaking of which, it was also terrifyingly powerful. Fang Ping was a little conflicted. Should he seal it? He was indeed conflicted. He was afraid that after sealing it, he would not be able to use the Dao. If there was no increase in his strength, he would drop from 70 million to 50 million. The difference would be very big. Dao, Fang Ping murmured. The problem with the origin Dao was very serious. The more it was at this time, the more worried he was. It was actually best not to use it. However, he was also afraid of losing his strength. He was in a dilemma. I won't seal it first unless my strength exceeds the increase of the Dao. Fang Ping still made a decision. He would not seal the origin worlds whole first. Wait a little more. This time, he wanted to enter the origin land again. If he succeeded this time, he might have an upgrade. At that time, even without using the Dao, he might still exceed 70 million calories. At that point, Tian Chen's Dao might not be of much use anymore. No matter what, he would use it first. Star Town. Now, many powerhouses gathered here. The last time the seed projection overflowed here, this place had the most energy. Fang Ping had finished integrating the city. His first choice was Star Town. He was ready to enter the origin land. This should be the safest place. Uft. The void was torn apart. Fang Ping descended directly. In the next second, Heavenly King Subduer appeared. He glanced at Fang Ping, frowning slightly. I can't see through you anymore. What is your strength now, kid? Just broke 9. Heavenly King Subduer curled his lips. Who was he bluffing? Really? Fang Ping laughed and said quickly, Godfather, I'm here to ask for your help this time. Get lost. Upon hearing the word Godfather, Heavenly King Jin knew it was nothing good and scolded him directly. Get lost. I don't like it. What do you want now, kid? I'm really here to ask for help. Fang Ping smiled bitterly. I need a lot of origin soil now to consolidate my origin world. It might take tens of millions of years if I rely on myself to condense origin chi and then condense it into soil. Only origin soil, the kind in large quantities, can help me quickly fill up the origin world. This way, I can also walk in the origin universe for a longer period of time. Fang Ping sighed. If Godfather doesn't save me, then no one can save me unless I can find a second origin soil star now. But I suspect that there's only one such star in the 3 realms that has fallen into Godfather's hands. Heavenly King Jun was smug. He laughed. Of course I've searched the origin universe and only found this one. But no way. I won't send you off. This was good stuff. He wanted it too. Moreover, he was using it as a weapon. This would cause great damage to the origin world and was especially effective against emperors. He would not give it to him. Fang Ping sighed. Not far away, King Wu tread the air, his face dark. He said with some annoyance, You used it as a weapon. Fang Ping used it to increase his strength and save the human race. Can't you give it to him? You're already so old, yet you're like a child. Do you think this thing can be eaten like candy? Wholeheartedly for the human race. I think you're just showing off for yourself. It's just some soil. Fang Ping didn't do it for himself. Can't you give it to him? What good will it do to you if the human race is defeated? I've said it before. Old man, you're not a good person. Now it's true. You're a cold-blooded animal. Fong Ping is begging you to do something serious. It's not like you're taking it out to squander. Yet you won't give it to him. Zhang Tao swore. Heavenly King Zhen's face darkened. He snorted. Provoking me? Dream on. I won't give it to you. This was his most powerful divine weapon. He would not give it to him. Fong Ping smiled bitterly. Forget it then. I can't force you. Since Godfather wants to use it and play with it, then play with it. Play. Heavenly King Zhen scolded. Who's playing? Am I a child? Is this thing for playing? Who are you slandering? Old Zhang said again. Don't beg him. Isn't it just the origin soil? If it doesn't work, kill the cat for the soil. Doesn't this guy have a lot of origin soil? Meow. The cat stared at him with wide eyes. What? Why was he talking about me again? I didn't even say anything. Why kill the cat for the soil? Heavenly King Zhen's face darkened. Who are you provoking? Go ahead and kill it. These two bastards only know how to provoke me. I won't give it to them. He said he would not give it to them, but when he saw Fong Ping's face full of despair, Heavenly King Zhen could not help but scold. Who are you pretending for? You'll die without the origin soil. Despair. You didn't despair when you faced the Emperor. Now that you don't have the origin soil, you're in despair? Sigh, I want to go to the source. There's not much origin soil. The source world isn't stable. My origin body won't be stable either. If I stay here for too long and can't get out, I'll be dead. Fong Ping smiled bitterly. I might not be as lucky as last time. Old Wang has been to the source twice. Won't the Emperor be on guard? So this time, I might not have a chance to get out. Godfather, if I can't get out, please take care of the humans. Heavenly King Zhen was very aggrieved. He wanted to say, you might as well just die. However, if he went to the source, the origin body would be far away from the origin star. It might not last long. It was like that last time. Fong Ping could not return and almost died there. In the end, it was Wang Jinyang who opened up the passageway and saved Fong Ping. Otherwise, Fong Ping and the cat would have fallen in. However, after thinking about it, Heavenly King Zhen scolded, You were weak last time. This time, you're strong. If you go, you have a chance to break the 3 gates. Who says you can't get out? At that time, Fong Ping was still not strong. He had not even broken 7. But now, it was not the same. Now, if Fong Ping went to the source, he might be able to get out. The chances of breaking the gates and forcing his way out were not small. But I'm not going with my real body. Fong Ping sighed. If I really went with my real body, that would be great. Only the emperors entered the source with their real bodies. If Fong Ping wanted to enter the source with his real body, he had to find some origin star fragments, celestial emperor's origin star fragments, and integrate them into the origin. Only then could he enter the source universe with his real body. Otherwise, if he entered with his real body, he would not be able to withstand the pressure and fall from the origin. This time, Fong Ping also wanted to find some origin fragments. Then let his real body enter. If his real body entered the source, he could have an outburst of more than 70 million calories. He was not afraid of a few weak emperors. But he did not have that thing now, did he? Heavenly King Zhen was a little uncertain. He gritted his teeth and said, In this old man's life, I have never honed a divine weapon. I only hone this thing. If you take it away now, He was very irritable now. He did not want to give it. But if he did not give it, what if this kid really died inside? The more he thought about it, the more depressed he became. Should he give it? It looked like he had to. Fong Ping laughed. Godfather, if you can't, I'll exchange. Exchange with Celestial Emperor reverses divine weapon. To be honest, I'm afraid that if I take his divine weapon, he will sense it. Previously, I wanted to integrate it with my chaos-vanquishing saber. But after thinking about it, he has been forging for tens of thousands of years. If I carry this thing, I might really be discovered by him. I might as well not integrate it. Also, the last time his and the Divine Emperor's divine weapons fell into our hands, I have a feeling that it was not a coincidence. They might have given it to us on purpose. Godfather, what do you think about exchanging it? See if there's any problem with it. This is a good thing, not worse than your ball. Celestial Emperor, reverse, the strongest emperor. He forged a divine weapon for 40,000 years. It's definitely a good thing. You heavenly King Jin wanted to curse, but on second thought, actually, Celestial Emperor reverse's divine weapon was not worse than his ball. Fang Ping exchanging it was considered bleeding a lot. The point was, he did not want the divine weapon now. He wanted his ball. Old Zhang said impatiently, "Don't be so wishy-washy. Don't waste time. If you want to exchange it, hurry up. If not, then forget it. We'll just go and die ourselves. Then you can go and die." Heavenly King, Zhen rolled his eyes. "Kid, who are you talking to? Die or not?" Old Zhang was a little embarrassed. He did not follow the script. "I'm going to die, and you're not even stopping me." Heavenly King Zhen cursed a few times. He looked at Fang Ping, gritting his teeth. F***CK. Knowing these guys, he had not lived a good life. He gritted his teeth, his face black, and smashed a small ball into Fang Ping's arms with a bang. Fang Ping took a few steps back, chuckling. "Godfather, you're really strong. I almost smashed you to death." "Get lost." Heavenly King Jin scolded. "Get lost as far away as you can. Don't let me see you again. Next time." "We'll talk about it next time." Fang Ping laughed, then pinched the small ball and said, "Godfather, how do I break it?" Heavenly King Zhen's heart ached. "Break it? This is my treasure. Do you really want to break it?" "How about, forget it, I'll do it myself." Fang Ping interrupted him. Besides, the old man was reluctant to part with it. It was better not to provoke him. After getting this, Fang Ping was relieved. He was just about to chat with old Zhang when Heavenly King Jin said with a black face, "Where's the fighting divine weapon? Didn't you agree to give it to me? Where's the divine weapon? Did you eat it? Did I see it?" Fang Ping was a little surprised. "I thought you didn't care about the divine weapon. Get lost." Heavenly King Zhen was furious again. "Do you believe I won't kill you?" Fang Ping laughed dryly and threw a Chong Dao to him. He said with a smile, "It's just a divine weapon. Why would I care about this?" "Let's not talk about this. Old Zhang, where are Old Wang and the others?" "Yao Qingjun is back. He's having a gathering in Magic City." "Old Yao is back." Fang Ping was a little surprised. Soon, he stopped thinking about it and said with a smile, "It's good that he's back. Inform them to come over immediately after the gathering. I'm preparing to enter the source. Let these guys be ready to pick me up and evacuate at any time." It would be best if he could go and leave quietly. If he was discovered by the emperors, it would be best to break the door and leave, or simply leave through the passageway of the three. If he broke the door, the danger was not small. The emperors paid more attention to the door. It was easy to be discovered and stopped. Once he was blocked at the source, it would be troublesome. "All right." Zhang Tao did not say much. He agreed and said quickly, "I'll go with you this time. Share some of your origin soil with me. You go. It's useless if you go." Fang Ping did not want to hurt people, but he had to. "It was useless if you go." Old Zhang said in an unfriendly tone, "Why is it useless if I go? Why is it useless if I find out the enemy's situation and find out their background?" Moreover, you're still young. You only know how to act rashly. If I go with you and encounter some unexpected situations, at least I can take care of you. Fang Ping said in his heart, but you're too weak. Who's weak? Old Zhang scolded. I'll break 8 and enter the top 10. The one with question marks. Are you looking for a beating? You're not my opponent. Old Zhang was so angry that his liver hurt, but he insisted, I want to go. What are you going to do? Fang Ping asked curiously. You're so insistent. Are you going to see Emperor Ling? I heard you drank her bathwater. Are you going on a date now? Get lost, Old Zhang roared, exploding with anger. Fang Ping shrugged. Needless to say, he felt much better after dissing Old Zhang and the others. He was a little depressed before. Now that he could diss these two, he was in a good mood. Old Zhang was furious. He humphed. Do you think I'm like you? I want to go and see if there's a chance to rope in 1 or 2 emperors. You're thinking too much. Nonsense. Of course you can't go, but I might not be able to. Zhang Tao said impatiently. Your reputation stinks. Who would believe you? I'm different. I'm the current emperor. The humans can't do anything without me. They need to use the humans, so there's a basis for cooperation. Others aside, I've analyzed it. Emperor West, Emperor Ling, and Emperor Ling all have a possibility of cooperation, including the Beast Emperor and the others. The ones who really can't cooperate are actually those guys. It's much easier to fight one by one than to face the enemy head-on. Otherwise, are you sure you can take care of more than 10 powerhouses alone? Seeing that Fang Ping did not think much of it, Old Zhang said angrily, Do you think you're the only smart one? If I hadn't secretly roped in the catacombs true kings, with old Devil Li's reckless personality, would Sino Nation have lasted until the end? Back then, I roped in a group of true kings. That's why we couldn't reach a consensus in the true king assemblies. It's not like the 4 true king halls have never joined forces to destroy the humans. It was the people I roped in who opposed it, so the alliance plan was ruined. You brat, do you really think that it's all thanks to you that the humans survived? Without me, you brat would have died long ago. Yes, Heavenly King subduing said, faintly, without me, you guys would have died long ago. Do you think it's all thanks to you guys that the humans survived? Fang Ping was speechless. Were they comparing seniority? They spoke as if he only knew how to do it. He also knew how to use strategies. Okay, he was not a reckless person. Are you really going? Of course I'm going. Old Zhang humphed. If I don't go this time, I might not have the chance. The next time they appear, it might be when the war breaks out. Do you want me to instigate them to defect? But it's very dangerous. If they kill you, they won't, at least not now. Old Zhang said firmly, if they kill me now, the emperor's path will collapse. If the seeds are lured out and they can't go all out, won't it be easy for others? The young god outside might kill me. Old Devil Li might kill me. You might too. Those few, it's really impossible. Fang Ping rubbed his chin and muttered, Makes sense. If I kill you and the seeds appear now, they won't be able to go all out. Maybe I really have a chance to snatch the seeds. Why don't I try killing you? Kill me then. Forget it. There's no sense of accomplishment in killing you. You're too weak. The two of them exchanged a few words. Heavenly King, subduing, could not be bothered with them. He looked at Fang Ping and said, Are you really going? Of course. Heavenly King, subduing, pondered for a moment and said, If you really want to go, you can go to the Celestial Emperor's side and take a look. The Celestial Emperor has been suppressed for many years. I don't think he was suppressed voluntarily. Maybe he was tricked by the 9 emperors. You go investigate. You might have some unexpected gains. The Celestial Emperor and my master are at odds. The 9 emperors will be your first opponent. He might be eager for you to be stronger and help him suppress the 9 emperors. This possibility is not small. The celestial emperor might not be able to come out now. He is also worried that the 9 emperors will not be able to suppress him. You go to him. Maybe he will give you some help. The enemy of an enemy is a friend, even if you're still enemies in the end. Fong Ping thought for a while and nodded. That makes sense. You're indeed a wise man with age. You're wise and prudent. You have your responsibilities when you're old, like a steed in the stable. Having an old man at home is like having a treasure. Old man who won't die, Zhang Tao added faintly. Every word you say is old. You might as well call him an old man who won't die. Heavenly King, subduing, felt that talking to these 2 bastards would kill him. Too lazy to answer, he said again. Also, try not to take Wang Jinyang's path. You've already gone in twice. Now everyone is watching. The 3rd time, you might be tracked. Once you're tracked, it'll be very troublesome. Why don't you just accompany me? Me? Heavenly King, subduing, said impatiently, I don't want to court death. If I go, those people won't be polite. Kijong and the others might not kill me. If you want to court death, I can't stop you. If I go, they won't be polite at all. If they see me, they will kill me. As he said that, he added, Go find the blacksmith and ask him to make a fake path that leads to the outside of the 3 gates. If there's really danger, you have to leave through the 3 gates. I'll meet you outside the 3 gates. This time, he was much more prepared than the last time. Heavenly King, subduing, would secretly meet Fong Ping outside the Sanjiao Gate. Old Wang and the other 2 would also be ready to meet Fong Ping. If he encountered a crisis, Fong Ping had many ways to escape. Fong Ping nodded. This was fine too. It was safer. Then I'll go find the God-crafting envoy. Old Zhang, inform Old Wang, and the others to come. At this point, the cat said aggrievedly, Then I won't go. I'm going to eat. I'll look for you after I'm done eating. Fong Ping rolled his eyes, his shoulders shaking. Go find Fatty Jiang Chow. He hid a lot of delicious food. There should be something you like. Meow. The cat leaped into the air, a smile on its face. That made sense. The liar was still smart. He would go find Fatty Jiang then. That fellow had a lot of delicious food. Heavenly King, subduing, laughed. He did not care that the cat was causing a ruckus in Stellar Sky City. After thinking for a while, he said in a low voice, Bring this cat to Spirit Emperor. Maybe he can convince her. Women were emotional. This cat had been with her for tens of thousands of years. She followed the Celestial Emperor, but after all, they had not seen each other for many years. It was hard to say if she was still that determined. Even if I can't convince her, it's not bad to make her waver. One less enemy. Don't think that Spirit Emperor is weak. Kid, didn't you see what's written on the list? Aren't you sure? Why aren't you sure of Spirit Emperor's strength? Heavenly King Zhen said with a smile, You don't understand, do you? Spirit Emperor was the youngest among the 9 emperors, and she was the Celestial Thearcha's last disciple, as well as his only female disciple. The Celestial Dwarch might have given her special treatment. Everyone says that the restrictions of the origin are great, but, kid, the Spirit Emperor might not necessarily have such a restriction. Fong Ping was stunned. The Celestial Emperor might have helped her suppress the restrictions, but that's hard to say. If that's the case, the Spirit Emperor is actually the freest emperor. Heavenly King Zhen Wang smiled and said, Don't think that it's impossible. The possibility is not low. Of course, this is only my personal guess. However, this guess is not baseless. You saw the materials from before. There is no substitute for the Spirit Emperor. It wasn't that she wasn't ruthless, and it wasn't that she didn't want to find them. The key was that she didn't necessarily need them. She was one of the backup plans of the Celestial Arch. If the realm wall was broken, the other emperors would be restricted a little, but she might be completely unrestricted. The Celestial Arch wants her to display her full strength to help him deal with his opponents and obtain benefits. That's why I asked you to look for Spirit Emperor. This woman knows a lot of things. Otherwise, do you think her doppelganger would have gone to the mystic realm so early? How did she know about the Celestial Emperor's mystic realm so many years in advance? The Divine Emperor is powerful, but what about the Spirit Emperor? So, don't underestimate women. Fang Ping's eyes flickered, and he gossiped, "There's really something going on? That old Zhang drank her bathwater. Will the Celestial Arch be jealous and kill him?" Heavenly King Zhen was tired. "I'm talking about serious matters, and you're actually gossiping with me. What's wrong with this kid's brain?" Old Zhang was also speechless. Sometimes he really hoped that this guy would be beaten to death. However, could it be that this kid was right? Could the Celestial Arch really be jealous? Old Zhang was a little worried. It was better not to tell this secret, lest something went wrong this time. Chapter 1425. After chatting with the God Creation Envoy for a while, Fang Ping suddenly thought of a question and asked, "Old Zhao, what do you think will happen to the immortal source in the end?" Old Zhao, the God Creation Envoy, was a little helpless and tired. Every time Fang Ping's strength surpassed some people would have to go through a process of mental exhaustion. The biggest use of the immortal source is those Daos now. The God Creation Envoy said in a low voice, "In the end, the final outcome is that the martial artists who cultivate the great Tao will be controlled by the immortal source and directly pulled into the source to fill the pit. Of course, some of the substitutes will break through the nine and pierce the source. They will be pulled over by the emperors to fill their own pit. Origin land, according to our thoughts, there are 9 emperors and 1 emperor's pit right now, and the biggest pit of the heavenly emperor. In this way, there will be 11 pits. The immortal source is used to fill the biggest pit. The remaining 10 will have to rely on the emperor himself. I'm afraid the martial artists of the 3 realms will not have a good ending in the end. The emperor himself is not willing to fill in these places, so he can only let others replace him." Fang Ping raised his eyebrows and said, "Then Wang Ruobing and the others, are they back up?" "Yes, the last time I checked the immortal source, there were many problems with it. It was very different from the way I made it back then," the God Creation Envoy explained. "Someone split the immortal source. Wang Ruobing and the others did not control all the martial artists' Daos. What you saw was actually only a part of it. They stole the control of the immortal source, but not all of it. They were also afraid that the heavenly emperor would only mend his own hole and ignore them, so they also arranged a backup plan to steal power. At the crucial moment, Wang Ruobing and the others became the items for them to mend their hole." Fang Ping sneered. "These guys, they really have a way to play with these things. Everyone has their own way." The God Creation Envoy did not say much about this, and sighed. After possessing great power, it is normal for them to give up, and it is normal for them to be unwilling. Since that's the case, of course we have to find a way out. Fang Ping nodded and said, "But I heard that Chu Wu had actually stolen some power." "There is such a thing. It should have been done by the Yang God. Actually, Qiong and the others can be counted as well, but now that they have already entered the urn, the Yang God has escaped." The God Creation Envoy explained, "It happened a long time ago, even earlier than the 9 emperors. Let's put it this way. This was part of the reason why the 9 emperors killed Chu Wu. Killing them would allow Chu Wu's power to fuse with the origin source. It's not just to help the 9 emperors cross the broken path. It's also to use the power of beginner martial arts to fill in the gaps." Fang Ping sneered. "If that's the case, the Yang spirit isn't anything good either? That depends on how you define it. The God-forging envoy laughed. According to the young god's thoughts, I am the one who took this thing. If you have the ability, you can take it away. If you can't, then it's mine. You killed people to vent your anger and chew Wu to fill the hole. What does that have to do with me? I didn't kill them. The God creation envoy chuckled and said, Tell me, in the eyes of the young god, is the death of the strongest Chu Wu related to him? Also, the young god has stolen a lot of power. This is also the reason why the origin martial artists have weak bodies. Because too much of their life force has been stolen. This also causes the origin martial artists to strengthen their bodies faster than the beginner martial artists. It's not just because of the suppression of the origin, the God-forging envoy sighed. The young god can't be said to be good or bad. He is also doing it for his own strength, not to harm others subjectively, but he did cause a large number of beginner martial artists to be killed, causing the origin martial artists' bodies to weaken. You know a lot. Not really. Actually, I've heard of it a few years ago, but not many people spread it around. The God-forging envoy laughed. The young god was still active a few years ago, and so was the celestial emperor. The two of them fought. That was their business. It wasn't good for us to interrupt and say anything, and we didn't have the qualifications. After the 9 emperors confirmed their Tao, the two of them had less time to be active. Actually, speaking of which, the origin Tao is still very strong and perfect. If the flaws are solved, the power stolen by the young god can also be returned. Then, the origin Tao is completely different. The God-forging envoy said with some regret, the origin Tao should have been the same as the beginner martial arts. It should have been mainly to strengthen oneself, not to increase the origin. Just use the amplification to let you feel stronger power in advance, and then transcend. Think about it. You are an origin martial artist. You can feel the power that is several times stronger in advance, adapt to this kind of power. And the origin does not have any suppression on the physical body and mentality. Then do you think you can quickly advance to this realm? The origin Tao is an auxiliary great Tao, but it is indeed very useful. But later on, I neglected the root and focused on the root. Instead, I focused on the increase of the origin. The celestial emperor and the young god both have an unshirkable responsibility. The God-forging envoy looked at Fang Ping and smiled. If you can solve the problem of the origin, completely repair the origin Tao, and even provide energy replenishment, then the origin Tao will be the strongest Tao in the world. I've already thought about it for you. The God-forging envoy smiled and said, First, make up for the flaws. Then, throw the seed in and turn it into a perpetual motion machine. No, you still have to create the underworld. It's not considered the underworld, but a kind of recovery of power. The God-forging envoy spoke with confidence and composure. When the 3 realms' powerhouses die, their power returns to the seed, and the seed provides the origin power again, so that the loss of power will not lead to a loophole in the origin. There was actually another problem. What if there were too many powerhouses? Everyone can live for 10,000 years. And even if they live for 100,000 years, the origin might not be able to bear it. What should we do? Have you seen Xianxia? Transcend the tribulation. The God-forging envoy chuckled and said, Let the powerhouses transcend the tribulation. For example, if a rank 9 powerhouse wants to prove the peak of the Tao, then transcend the tribulation. In this way, the number of experts could be reduced. If the weak wanted to become strong, they would have to consider the danger of death. Unlike now, even if the breakthrough failed, the loss would not be great. This also allowed many people to absorb energy and scrupulously to make themselves stronger. The energy of the 3 realms is getting weaker and weaker, and it has something to do with too many powerhouses. Since you are dissatisfied with the order of the 3 realms, then you need to make your own rules. The God-forging envoy said seriously, Didn't you say that if you kill the 9 emperors and the others and cripple the Tao of origin, then everything will be fine? It's not like that. If that's the case, it might cause even more trouble in the end. If you don't make the rules, someone will always make them. So, even if we really win the war, you still have a lot of things to do. Fang Ping smiled bitterly. You think highly of me, and you're already helping me think about the aftermath. It's not that I think highly of you, it's to prepare for a rainy day. The God-forging envoy laughed. You have to take advantage of the fact that after the war, when there are at least a few powerhouses in the 3 realms to formulate these rules. Otherwise, you might be like the Heavenly Emperor back then, facing difficulties. Didn't the Heavenly Emperor and the others know the problem? I know, but at that time, there were too many experts. Could it be that they had all been killed? Later on, they were all killed, but look, how much trouble has appeared in the 3 realms. The God-forging envoy smiled and said, Brat, you can leave these matters to this old man in the future. I like to make these rules. I've already thought about the thunder tribulation for you. Use the divine weapon to investigate. When your strength reaches a certain limit, directly descend the thunder tribulation and strike them to death. Also, I've read a lot of books recently. In the future, there should be some restrictions on my cultivation. For example, martial artists without talent are unable to cultivate, even if it's spirit root. Fang Ping rolled his eyes. What book was this old man reading now? Are you going to create a world of cultivation, thunder tribulation, and spirit root? What are you thinking about? Don't think so. The God-forging envoy laughed. It's really necessary to think about it. It's always good to prepare for a rainy day. The great war between 3 realms has ended, and there are many things waiting to be done. This is actually the most suitable time. As the God-forging envoy spoke, he sighed and said, I know that you and the martial king want to make the whole nation strong, but, Brat, if this goes on, the 3 realms won't be able to take it. On the human side, there are hundreds of millions of martial artists now, and the number of high-ranked martial artists has exceeded 1 million. The God-forging envoy said worriedly, Now, do you know how terrifying the energy they absorb every day is? It was so terrifying. This was also the energy recovery from before, coupled with the overflow of the seed projection, that was able to satisfy everyone's cultivation. However, in the long run, when the high-ranked martial artists were 10 million, 100 million, 1 billion, 10 billion, what should they do? If this goes on, in the end, you will find that there is no energy on Earth again. Without the support of energy, the new generation of humans can no longer cultivate. The older generation of powerhouses have 2 long lives, but without the energy to cultivate, what will they do then? What? Kill. The God-forging envoy exhaled and said, Kill others, seize their energy, and satisfy your own cultivation. Therefore, in the end, the 3 realms will become a demonic land, a true demonic land, a world of cannibalism. Do you and the martial king long for such a world to be born? I don't want to. Then that's it. So, Fang Ping said lightly, It's best to destroy martial arts, completely destroy martial arts, and not let martial arts appear again. They are all ordinary people, and after 100 years, they will die of old age, illness, and illness. How is that possible? When you have martial arts, you can live forever. Who would give up their own strength? Can you? I can. Fang Ping said calmly, I'm tired of living like this. I'm tired of killing. I don't want my descendants to continue killing. Maybe I don't have any descendants, but I don't want the 3 realms to continue killing. If I say that I yearn for a world without martial arts, would you think it's funny? Would you think it was unbelievable? But I want to tell you what I want to see is world peace, Martial arts no longer, killing no more. Even if there is no martial arts, there may still be war, a war between ordinary people, and such a situation will not occur again. One person can destroy the three realms. How big was the three realms? There were tens of billions of living beings, but the emperor alone could destroy the three realms. The God-forging envoy was stunned for a moment and said seriously, "Are you serious? Why not?" Fang Ping said calmly, "I think that's pretty good. At least I don't have to worry. If I'm not careful, a top-notch powerhouse will be angry and the pressure will erupt. With a bang, the country will be destroyed and hundreds of millions of people will die. Right now, the human race hasn't had such a problem, but it's because the war is imminent. Once there's no pressure to survive, what about the future?" Fang Ping shook his head. "Rather than cultivating martial arts, it's better not to have martial arts." "Your thoughts?" The God-forging envoy shook his head. "Maybe it's like this now, but when you really ascend to the top of the three realms will be under your control, and you might not think that way." "Let's see." Fang Ping did not say anything more. Everything was just empty talk now. However, the God-forging envoy laughed. "A peaceful world, a world without martial arts. The idea is beautiful, but unfortunately, it shouldn't work. I remember that someone mentioned this back then, but in the end, it was left unsettled. Mentioned a world without martial arts?" Fang Ping's eyes moved. "Who said that? Who said that?" The God-forging envoy was stunned for a moment and recalled, "Who said that? I really don't remember." The one who listened to it as a joke back then should be a powerhouse, maybe one of the 9 emperors and 4 emperors. Of course, it seems like he just mentioned it in his spare time. Fang Ping's eyes flickered. A world without martial arts. This was a joke in the eyes of powerhouses. How was it possible? How could the legacy of martial arts for 40,000 years disappear? Even without the origin, there was still the beginner martial arts. Even without the beginner martial arts, there were still others. How could martial arts be extinguished? It could not be extinguished. However, someone had actually mentioned it. In that case, his origin might be related to this person. Who? Who proposed a world without martial arts? Fang Ping's eyes flickered nonstop. If someone proposed this concept, it might be the creator of the system, and because he had experienced such peace, that person hoped that he could realize such a dream, because it was impossible for others to do it. Even Zhang Tao. It was true that Zhang Tao was a human, and he also hoped that the war could stop, but the era he lived in was an era full of martial arts. An era full of martial arts. In Zhang Tao's opinion, there were many things that could only be solved by being strong. Could Zhang Tao annihilate martial arts? Most likely not, because he did not know what would happen after martial arts annihilation, whether it would cause the human race to face a crisis again. One of the 9 emperors and 4 emperors. Fang Ping was very surprised. He thought that the celestial emperor, the sun god, and the seed were the most likely to create the system. Now, it seemed that it was not as complicated as he thought. It was done by one of the 9 emperors and 4 emperors. Who was it? I've already broken through 9, and the system is still reporting the data. My peak strength has exceeded 70 million calories, but still no one has come to harvest it. Could it be that this person knows, but is waiting for me to annihilate martial arts in secret? Fang Ping frowned. Very quickly, he exhaled and stopped thinking about it. At this moment, he also sensed that old Wang and the others had arrived in the outside world. Star Town, conference hall. Seeing that Yao Qingjun had come along, Fang Ping laughed heartily. "Old Yao, long time no see." Yao Qingjun smiled. Beside him, Li Hansong glanced at Fang Ping, wanting to say something but hesitating. Yao Qingjun glanced at him. Iron Head was a little embarrassed, keeping his mouth shut. Fang Ping glanced at them. smiling. Why? Are you still hiding secrets from me? No. Ironhead interrupted hurriedly, indicating that there were no secrets. Fong Ping sneered and did not say anything. Suddenly, he grabbed Ironhead. Then, the world spun. Heaven and earth were cut apart. Ironhead was caught and brought to the dark land, without a sound. Fong Ping, let me out. Ironhead looked miserable. Let me out, quickly. Where was this? It was pitch black. Nothing could be seen. Nothing could be heard. It was very lonely here alone. Fong Ping, Old Wang, Old Yao. Ironhead did not know how long he had waited. He was getting more and more lonely, more and more afraid. What was Fong Ping doing? He had caught him and brought him here, but he did not show himself. What was he doing? After an unknown amount of time, Fong Ping suddenly appeared. Ironhead looked excited, but Fong Ping's face was livid. Great. Fong Ping said coldly, I treated you guys as brothers, but you guys treated me like this. I used my life to befriend you guys, and you guys hid it from me. You guys. I can forget about them. But I didn't expect that you, Ironhead, would treat me like this too. Li Hansong was stunned, saying sheepishly, Fong Ping, you know everything? Fong Ping said coldly, Did you think you could hide it from me? As for Old Wang, it would have been fine if I didn't ask. But when I asked, he told me everything. I'm angry. He dared not say anything, but you, Li Hansong, are like this too. Ironhead said dryly, No, Old Yao said that you don't need to worry for nothing if I tell you. What he said makes sense. The cat might not betray you. What I'm afraid of is that the cat is controlled by someone else. There's nothing between us. We're just borrowing the way. To be honest, our strength is not good. Although we're breaking 8 now, can we really break 9? If we can get a few emperors to work with, it's actually not bad. Old Yao is also thinking for the humans and for you. Fong Ping, Old Yao doesn't have any bad intentions. I know him. He's just cold. He's not even afraid of death. What else can he be afraid of? I just don't want you to worry. I actually wanted to tell you, but Old Yao is right. One more person knowing, one more person worrying. What's the point? It's all my fault. I shouldn't have expressed it just now. As he said that, he sighed. Now that you know, there's no need to hide it. Actually, it's not bad to discuss it together. Ironhead was still narrating his story when Fong Ping disappeared. In the conference hall, at this moment, Old Wang and the others were chatting with Fong Ping. Zhang Tao, on the other hand, was looking at Ironhead, who was almost drooling. He was a little surprised. What was this idiot doing? It was fine if he was alone in a daze, but he looked like he was about to drool. Was he stupid? He was already breaking 8. Why was he still like this? Old Wang also looked at Ironhead in surprise. On the other side, Yao Chengjun was telling Fong Ping about the harvest from the Sky Destroyer Palace. At this moment, he could not help but ask, Fong Ping, why are you controlling him with mentality? Everyone knew that Li Hansong's mentality was weak. Why did you control this idiot with mentality out of the blue? He was almost drooling. Fong Ping grinned. It's nothing. I'm too lazy to listen to his chatter. This guy has been talking a lot lately. I might as well not let him talk. However, he cursed in his heart. He still wanted to hide it from me. Fortunately, you, Master Ping, have many tricks up your sleeve. When he saw this idiot's attitude just now, he felt something was off. He immediately went to test him, thinking that there would be gossip. He did not expect that. He was really gossipy. At this moment, Yao Chengjun and Old Wang had no idea that they had been completely sold out by Ironhead. Ironhead really thought that Fong Ping already knew and was now explaining. Fong Ping was also speechless. This idiot, whoever talked about secrets with you, was the idiot himself. You still want to keep secrets like this? For old Yao and old Wang to tell him a secret. They were really brave. Of course, this was also related to Ironhead's trust in Fong Ping. From Ironhead's point of view, since Fong Ping knew anyway, then it was not a big deal for him to say it. They were all on the same side, so he could say it. The next moment, Ironhead was in a trance. Soon, he scratched his ears and cheeks. Fong Ping, I've already said it. What do you think we should do about this? Yao Qingjun and the others looked at him in surprise. What did he say? What did he say? Only then did Ironhead see the situation around him clearly. Seeing that they were looking at him in surprise, he said gloomily, "What's wrong? Why are you looking at me? It's not like I said it first. Old Wang said it first. I'm not a traitor." Old Wang was dumbfounded. What did he say? He did not say anything at all. He only greeted Fong Ping. What did he say? Old Yao was also dumbfounded. He seemed to have realized something and looked at Fong Ping again. At this moment, Fong Ping was holding a teacup, drinking tea with a leisurely expression. It was easy to deal with them. As for Ironhead, it was easy to control his mentality slightly, create an illusion, and trick him into saying a few words. He was too lazy to expose them. Fong Ping laughed and said, "Let's get back to business. Ironhead, stop talking nonsense and listen carefully. What were you doing just now? Were you dreaming?" Ironhead was not really stupid. At this moment, his eyes blinked, and he was suddenly in a trance. Did I just dream just now? It did not seem like it, but nothing seemed to have happened in front of him. He remembered that he was captured by Fong Ping, but now it seemed like he was still in his original position. Ironhead swallowed. Suddenly, he looked at Fong Ping, then angrily raised his middle finger. "Mother asterisk her, you tricked me. This bastard." He used his mentality to create an illusion to deceive him. Shameless villain. Fong Ping could not be bothered with him. He laughed and said, "It's settled then. The three of you prepare to receive me. Of course, it is not necessary until the critical moment. Old Wang was the most suitable. Anyway, he was going to be exposed. It did not matter if he was really exposed. Ironhead was second. After all, he was too stupid. If he did not expose himself today, he might be tricked into exposing himself in the future. Old Yao was third. I will bring some of your mentality attachments in. Whoever I crush will open up a passage. Be ready at any time. My godfather will receive me outside the origin gate. Senior God Envoy, and the rest will guard Star Town to prevent anyone from causing trouble at this time. Oh, right. Keep an eye on Tian Chen and Heavenly Dog. Be careful of these two fellows causing trouble. This time, when I enter, I might help someone open up the Void Gate, Vitality Gate, and Mentality Gate." Ironhead listened in a trance, still thinking about what just happened. However, Fong Ping stood up directly and said, "I'm going to see Wang Ruobing and Lin Zi. The few of you, don't do this with me next time. Even if you do, leave Ironhead, this idiot, behind. Don't bring him along. Otherwise, he will die before he can succeed." Fong Ping snorted in disdain, sneered, and took off into the air. As for old Zhang, he also glanced at the few of them with some contempt. Instead of discussing secrets with Li Hansong, why don't you ask everyone to discuss it together? It's a waste of breath. I'll have to say it again, later. With a sense of superiority from crushing his IQ, old Zhang also left suavely, too lazy to ask any more questions. Although he did not know what it was, Fong Ping obviously knew, so he was too lazy to ask. In the basilica, there were only 3 people left. Old Wang and old Yao both looked at Li Hansong. Li Hansong's expression was stiff. The next moment, he suddenly burrowed into the ground and escaped. "I didn't do it on purpose. Fong Ping tricked me. I really didn't do it on purpose. I was innocent. Chapter 1426. Knowing Old Wang's purpose, Fong Ping did not say anything. He would talk about what happened when the boundary wall broke later. However, it could be seen that there were indeed many disputes among the emperors. They were not united, which coincided with old Zhang's purpose this time. As for why they did not tell him, it was normal. Fong Ping would definitely not agree. They wanted to find a way out for the humans, so it was not surprising that they agreed. A few minutes later, Fong Ping once again came to the small world of Polaris. This arcane realm was the safest place now. Tianchen was in it. Previously, he was in seclusion in the Hall of Myriad Origins. When Fong Ping returned, Heavenly Kingjin was afraid that Fong Ping would see him and want to kill him, so he moved him into the arcane realm. Seeing Fong Ping, Tianchen sat cross-legged on the ground, opened his eyes, and did not speak. Fong Ping glanced at Tianchen and said with a smile, "Senior Tianchen, how about I return your Tao to you later?" Tianchen raised his eyebrows slightly. Fong Ping smiled again. "I just don't know how effective it will be. That Tao, there are still 400 meters left." Tianchen's face was blank. How long was the Tao that was hundreds of thousands of meters long now? 400 meters? How did you do it? Soon, his eyes moved slightly. The Tao was crushed. It was either Tao was burned or his physical strength was too strong and crushed the Tao. Did Fong Ping burn his Tao? Never heard of it. That meant his physical strength was so strong that after his Tao of Breaking 8 was compressed, there was only 400 meters left. It was too scary. How strong was Fong Ping now? Fong Ping smiled. Although 400 meters is a little short, this is Senior's Tao, and I compressed it. It should be able to be extended very quickly. It shouldn't take long to return to its original length. Tianchen nodded slightly and said in a low voice, "Since I've been through it once, as long as I have enough origin chi, I can naturally recover quickly. Senior, do you want to break 9? Do you want to prove your Tao and become an emperor?" Tianchen said nothing. Fong Ping smiled. "I promised Cat not to kill you or burn your Tao. Then you still have a chance to break through to 90%. What are you trying to say?" "I don't want to say anything. I just want to ask, what is the Celestial Emperor's purpose?" Fong Ping said calmly, "Do you really have to be my enemy? Was there no possibility of cooperation? Now, I know a lot of things. Among the 9 emperors, other than Emperor Ling, do the others really listen to the Heavenly Emperor? They probably couldn't wait for the Celestial Arch to die and go to the sinkhole. As for the Celestial Arch, he probably couldn't wait to kill them so that they could fill the pit. Did the Celestial Arch not have any plans in the Source Land? The Celestial Emperor was probably behind the 9 emperors' imprisonment. Now, my greatest enemy is the 9 emperors, not the Celestial Emperor. Let's deal with the 9 emperors first. What does the Celestial Emperor want to do after that? Then we can decide who the victor is. Isn't that great?" Tianchen frowned and said slowly, "I am only Heavenly Monarch's follower. I cannot represent Heavenly Monarch. He has absolute trust in you. Otherwise, he wouldn't have asked you to be Song Mao's protector, right?" Tianchen exhaled. "What do you know? I don't need to know anything. I don't want to ask about the Ash Cat, and you probably won't tell me. I just want to ask, is there any way to contact the Celestial Emperor?" Fong Ping chuckled. "I'm going to the Origin immediately. If I can contact the Celestial Emperor, that would be the best. Even if the Celestial Emperor could kill me, it wouldn't do him any good." Tianchen was silent for a while, then said, "Master is trapped in the Source Land. What you see is not where his real body is. The Source Land is divided into multiple spaces. If you want to see Master," Tianchen hesitated, then a golden stone appeared in his hand. after you enter the source land. You can use this to look for Master. The closer you are to Master, the hotter it gets. If Master wants to see you, he will naturally look for you. You're hiding so well. Are you afraid of being killed by the 9 emperors? Fang Ping mocked, then laughed. Aren't you afraid that I'll lure the 9 emperors to find him? Tian Chen said in a low voice. Master has already transcended. What he wants is different from the 9 emperors. The 9 emperors want to transcend, and transcendence requires a seed. That's why the 9 emperors are your greatest enemy. If something happens to Master, there will be no one to hold the 9 emperors back. That will be the end of humanity with the king's intelligence. I don't think that will happen. Fang Ping smiled, took the golden stone, and asked, "What is this?" "A keepsake left behind by Master." Fang Ping did not ask further. Tian Chen probably did not know what it was. The material was very hard. Fang Ping played with it for a while, but could not determine what material it was. "Is there anything else you want to tell me, Senior?" Fang Ping looked at Tian Chen again. Tian Chen frowned. Still silence. Just as Fang Ping was about to leave, Tian Chen sighed. "Be careful of Dong Huang. Dong Huang is Master's most trusted disciple, the most outstanding disciple. Dong Huang is actually a little similar to Feng. He is one of the leaders of the beginner martial artists. He is older than the underworld god. And the rest, after Master created the source, Dong Huang was actually the first to seek refuge with Master. But in the end, the failure of the Immortal Source project was probably Dong Huang's doing. The earthly emperor and the emperor may have secretly participated, but Dong Huang may be the leader. He is the traitor of the celestial emperor's bloodline. Although the emperor god and the rest are not on good terms with Master, the emperor god is at most Master's nominal disciple. He is only teaching, not inheriting. And Dong Huang is the inheritor of the source, one of Master's inheritors. Dong Huang is very ambitious. Back then, the fall of Zhan Tian Di might not have been caused by the emperor god. And the rest, the key was actually Dong Huang. Fang Ping raised his eyebrows. Dong Huang? How do you know? Tian Chen was silent for a while before continuing. Back then, the fire god attacked and killed the cat. After that, we investigated and found the fire god, but that was not the end. In the end, I and the fire god perished together. As for Emperor Ling, he continued to investigate. During the time I died, Spirit Emperor continued to investigate and killed many people, but in the end, he could not find the final enemy. As soon as this was said, Fang Ping remembered. Old Zhang had told him about this that day. Back then, Spirit Emperor had killed many people to find the murderer, but there were still some people he could not find. Spirit Emperor had even told the cat to look for the Celestial Emperor if there was any danger. Spirit Emperor could not find them. Fang Ping thought he was talking about Fist God and the rest, but if it was them, how could Spirit Emperor not be able to find them? Now, Tian Chen's words confirmed what he said that day. At that time, Spirit Emperor was probably prepared to die. When a person is about to die, his words are always kind. She would definitely not lie. That meant that she really did not find them, or if she found them, she did not continue to investigate. Dong Huang was considered Spirit Emperor's senior. Both Dong Huang and Spirit Emperor were considered part of the Celestial Emperor's bloodline, so if they found Dong Huang, Spirit Emperor might give up. Also, if Dong Huang was part of the Celestial Emperor's bloodline, Spirit Emperor should have told the cat to look for Dong Huang if there was any danger. Unless she was sure that Dong Huang would die too, but Dong Huang was the second emperor of heaven and earth. How could he die so easily? Fang Ping's thoughts drifted away, and he said quickly, Dong Huang secretly led the killing of the cat. It should be him. Tian Chen exhaled and said with some mixed feelings, the failure of the Celestial Source Project was most likely caused by him. Then it was actually very normal for him to kill the cat because he knew that the cat was left behind by Master, and he wanted to destroy the cat and ruin some of Master's plans. Moreover, compared to others, Dong Huang was more qualified to transcend. He was walking on the true Tao of origin, or rather, compared to others, he was more like the Master. Force. Not many emperors use force because everyone has some deviation, but Dong Huang is very balanced. Heaven Emperor Zhan was powerful, and most of the credit goes to Dong Huang. Dong Huang is also powerful, and he might not be weaker than Emperor God and Emperor Reverse. Fang Ping frowned. Dong Huang. To be honest, Dong Huang was not as annoying as Emperor God. He was also the low-key type, and he was not famous among the 9 emperors. But from what Tianqin said, Dong Huang might be leading many things in the dark. I see. Fang Ping nodded and said, Sir, you are very knowledgeable. Then I have another question. Why did Emperor Heaven want the Tree of Tao to prove his Tao? To complete the Tao of origin. Tianqin did not hide this. He said, you know that the Tao of origin is not complete. The Tao of origin consisted of the blood Qi Tao, the mental Tao, the energy Tao, the life Tao, and even the demon beast Tao, and the origin Tao. But there are still some things missing, like the real Tao of Emperor and the Tao of monster plants. Because it is not complete, there are all kinds of problems in the land of origin. Our master once said that if all the Tao were complete, and he was not in a hurry to break the origin, when all the Tao were complete, there would be no problem when he transcended. Unfortunately, our master did not know much about the Tao of origin, so he missed many opportunities. After that, it was too late to make up for it. Tianqin sighed. The other Taos are fine, but the Tao of monster plants and the Tao of monster plants are hard to make up for. The Tree of Tao is a chance for the Tao of monster plants. Therefore, our master must hope that the Tree of Tao can prove its Tao and make up for some of the flaws in the origin, including King Wu. If our master knew about King Wu, he would also hope that King Wu could prove his Tao. Having said that, he added, not only our master, but the other emperors also know about this. Therefore, before the Tree of Tao and King Wu can prove their Tao, they are safe. It is a pity that you killed the Tree of Tao. Tianqin looked at Fang Ping, speechless. The emperors all knew about this. Therefore, it was not possible to kill the Tree of Tao. Even the God Emperor did not really treat the Tao tree as a substitute. Perfecting the Tao of origin was not the goal of the Celestial Emperor alone. If others wanted to transcend, perfecting the origin was naturally the best. In the end, Fang Ping, the hothead, did not care so much. He killed the Tree of Tao directly. The mystic realm was left for the Tree of Tao. As for Fang Ping, the emperors would not have an opinion if they called him a troublemaker. This guy had indeed messed up many people's plans and arrangements. Fang Ping raised his eyebrows slightly. The Tree of Tao is dead. Now, the most promising one to become the Emperor of Monster Plants in the 3 realms is Heavenly Wood. Heavenly Wood. Fang Ping's gaze flickered. Back then, Emperor of Heaven Reverse helped Heavenly Wood prove his Tao. Hong Kuan wants to refine Heavenly Wood. Do these people have other motives? Maybe. Tianqin explained. Hong Kuan might be after Heavenly Wood's monster plant Tao. He knows that if he used other Taos to prove his Tao, he might be plotted against by the emperors. If he used monster plant Tao, only the Beast Emperor would be able to deal with him. However, the Beast Emperor is not a concern. The other emperors will not stop Hong Kuan from proving his Tao. If that's the case, Hong Kuan can prove his Tao before solving the problem of his origin Tao. Fang Ping bared his teeth. If that's the case, I ruined Hong Kuan's grand plan, and he did not fight me to the death? Tianqin laughed. At that time, on one hand, it was because of Jiwu Town. On the other hand, it was because we were revived. Hong Kuan also had to be careful that we would attack him. Although Hong Kuan's ability is average, he still has courage. Tian Chen's evaluation of Hong Kuan was not bad. His ability was average, but he had a lot of courage. He said that his ability was average because in the past 8,000 years he had been tormenting a divine sect. In the end, he did not get anything out of it. His courage was okay because Hong Kuan could take it or let it go. Since the matter with Heavenly Wood had failed, he did not pester him anymore. Fong Ping nodded slightly, but in his heart he was thinking about Heavenly Wood. Heavenly Wood had also broken through to the Heavenly King realm. However, these days, Fong Ping did not have much time to care about Heavenly Wood. Was Heavenly Wood being targeted by the other emperors now? Fong Ping was not sure. In his heart, he decided that when he returned from the Source Land, he would still go and take a look. Recently, the emperors had been more active. There were projections of the emperors' avatars everywhere. These guys, their real bodies were trapped, but their avatars were not idle. Fong Ping had managed to glean some useful information from Tian Chen. Dong Huang. Fong Ping had almost forgotten about this guy. He had been so low-key that it made people's hair stand on end. This guy might actually be the mastermind behind the scenes who instructed Chu Wu to kill Song Mao. Other than that, he had the Celestial Emperor's contact information. This way, it would be convenient for Fong Ping to talk to the Celestial Emperor. Of course, there was definitely danger. However, entering the Source Land was the biggest danger. Finally, there was Heavenly Wood. Maybe he could use it. Monster plants had to become emperors and complete the origin path. Fong Ping had thought about this before, but he had not formed a complete train of thought. This time, he had to pay attention. Night, Dragon Transformation, Lin Zi, Wang Ruobing, and the others gathered in the Hall of Myriad Origins. Heavenly King Suppression, God Creation Envoy, King Wu, and Old Wang all entered the Hall of Myriad Origins. At this moment, Fong Ping was also among them. Fong Ping looked around and said in a low voice, "I'll enter the Source Land. I may need your help." Fong Ping looked at Wang Ruobing and Lin Zi. Wang Ruobing, my whereabouts were discovered last time. This time, I won't take your origin. Senior Lin Zi. Lin Zi glanced at the dozing Song Mao and said in a low voice, "As long as you can do what you promise me, then I'm naturally willing to help you." "Promise what?" "Don't go against Spirit Emperor." Fong Ping said calmly, "Don't go against Spirit Emperor. The premise is that she won't make an enemy of me. If she becomes an enemy, I'll spare her life for you and Song Mao's sake. Twice. Since I, Fong Ping, have said it, then I'll do it. I'll spare her life twice. The third time, if she wants to die, I won't ruin the human race's great plan for you. The third time, I'll definitely kill her." No one said that Fong Ping was arrogant, because no one knew how strong Fong Ping was now. Was Spirit Emperor Fong Ping's opponent? They did not know. Fong Ping said calmly, "If Senior agrees, then it's decided. If not," Lindsay looked at him. She did not ask what the consequences would be if she did not agree. Some things did not need to be tested. Today, Fong Ping had become a demon for the sake of the human race. Would he really let her go? If she did not let him enter the origin, would Fong Ping give up? However, Lindsay still said, "I've checked my origin myself. There's nothing unusual. You said that I'm a seed of mentality. I'm not sure myself. If I'm not, then there's nothing I can do." "It's fine," Fong Ping said with a smile. "Since Tengu and Tian Chen both think it's Senior, then I don't think it's wrong. Spirit Emperor might have also discovered something. I just don't know who set you up." Senior, Lin Zi frowned slightly. She thought for a while and said with a slight headache, All these years, I haven't slept. I've always been awake. They want to modify my origin, but they don't let me find out. The more Lindsay thought about it, the more her head hurt. Unless they use mentality to confuse me so that I don't know what's going on. However, I was also a saint back then, and then a heavenly king. If they want to confuse me and make me know nothing, their mentality must have changed qualitatively. Lin Z said slowly, even if it has changed qualitatively, I should be able to find out a thing or two about modifying the origin. I didn't find out. Plus, it's a seed of mentality. That must be the emperor among the emperors, the one with the strongest mentality. The God Emperor and the West Emperor are the most suspicious, followed by the East Emperor and the Emperor. She only listed 4 people. These 4 people were the most likely. Fang Ping nodded slightly and smiled. It's okay. If it's really modified, then there's a way to solve this problem. Having said that, he looked at Heavenly King Zhen and said with a smile, Godfather, you and God Creation Envoy, think of a way to wait for me outside the door. Old Wang, the 3 of you get ready. Old Zhang, Big Cat, accompany me to the origin. Fang Ping said, and finally said, I'll start with Senior Lin Z first. If there's a chance, I might go to Wang Ruobing's side. Vitality and mentality will be solved. Vitality will be solved. Everyone has absorbed a lot of life energy. The void world is still in my hands, and there's still a lot of energy. If that's the case, then it can be comparable to breaking 3 doors. Breaking 9 is not difficult. This is an opportunity. The human race's opportunity, everyone's opportunity. I hope I can discover everyone's Tao. I will help you break the door. The God Creation Envoy said that these people had only stolen some control rights, not all of them. It was possible that some people's void Tao was not here. As for old Zhang and the others, they had already secretly transferred their Tao. However, a few of them might still have his Tao. It was not impossible for them to have dual control. The last time he was at Wang Ruobing's side, he had discovered old Zhang's vitality Tao. This time, on one hand, it was to break the door. On the other hand, it was to break the Tao, in case they did not clean it up last time, and there were still future troubles. Everyone nodded. As for Fang Ping, at this moment, he was secretly transmitting his voice. Senior Scholarly, if something happens to Lin Z and Dragon Transformation, please control them. If old Wang and the others are in danger, please help them escape. Finally, it's about the human race. Senior, please take care of them. I don't know how long I will stay inside. Don't worry. The errand boy replied in secret. With Fang Ping's personality, how could he bring everyone away and put himself in danger? Scholarly guarded the human world, guarded the myriad origins hall. Whether Scholarly had other motives or not, Fang Ping felt that he could still be trusted now. If that was the case, with this broken 9 in charge, their safety would be greatly increased. After arranging everything, at the side, Old Man Li suddenly said, If there's danger, you can also summon me. I can enter the origin. Where is your origin? I might be able to track you down. Don't worry, if there's a need, you won't be able to run away. Fang Ping laughed and patted the dozing cat. Just as he was about to speak, the cat opened its eyes and said, Have you eaten? Fang Ping was tired. Big Cat, what's wrong recently? You feel danger? Why are you always thinking about eating? These days, this cat had been thinking about what to eat. Did it sense danger? The cat muttered lazily. Recently, every day has been dangerous. Every day is dangerous. I just want to eat more. After seeing third cat the last time, I realized that I'm still too skinny. Skinny my ass. Fang Ping cursed silently. This cat was crazy. Was third cat a cat? That was a pig. You, on the other hand, insisted on comparing your fatness with third cat. I give up. Stop talking nonsense. Let's go in together. You can roam the origin. Although I've paved the origin world with origin soil, I'm not sure if I can roam the origin. I still need to rely on you during critical moments. Fong Ping was not too sure if he could roam the origin. If he could not this time, it meant that if he wanted to roam the origin without collapsing, he might have to seal his own origin world. This was the only difference between him and the cat now. This possibility was not small. That was why Fong Ping dared not guarantee how long he could stay in the origin. Senior Lindsay, please open the origin. Lindsay did not say anything, nodding slightly. In the next moment, Fong Ping, Old Zhang, and the cat's origin moved. Their bodies froze instantly, and the origin entered Lindsay's origin world. This was a barren world. It was different from Wang Ruobing's honeycomb-like world. Fong Ping took a look and frowned slightly. It was very troublesome to enter Wang Ruobing's origin last time. He had to build a passageway that was very, very far away before entering the origin. But Lindsay's side entered directly. Could it be that he had guessed wrongly? It was not Lindsay. At this moment, Old Zhang was also standing beside him. He looked around, then looked at the avenue not far away, saying in a low voice, "Guessed wrongly?" It did not seem to be a mentality path seed. As for the cat, it raised its head and looked at the little sun in the sky, scratching its head with its claws. "I'm right? I think I feel something. There's something wrong with Lil Z's son." As soon as he said that, Fong Ping quickly broke through the air. In the next moment, he appeared near the sun. This was the brain nucleus. On one hand, Lindsay trusted them. On the other hand, she had no choice. Otherwise, she would not dare to open her origin. If the brain nucleus was shattered, she would be finished. At this moment, Fong Ping looked at the brain nucleus, frowning and deep in thought. After a while, Fong Ping suddenly invaded the origin again. This time, Fong Ping's expression changed. He grabbed Old Zhang and the cat at once, shouting, "Be careful! There's a problem indeed. Dual origin. Someone built another source world behind the brain nucleus." No wonder Lindsay did not notice anything unusual. She would not be so idle as to explore her own brain nucleus every day and move the brain nucleus. There was actually a passageway behind the brain nucleus. Old Zhang was not nervous. He laughed and said, "It's okay. Just keep the commotion low. I heard you say last time that if you did not take the risk to enter the honeycomb passageway, the other party might not have noticed you. It's the same this time. As long as you're careful, the 9 emperors are trapped now. They probably won't keep watching over here. It's even safer than last time. You brat, don't mess around this time. Even if you break the door, wait until it's safe. I know, I don't need you to tell me." "Nonsense. If I didn't tell you to mess around, what if you get me killed? If I die, and you die, who's going to take care of your sister and your parents?" Fong Ping was speechless. There was nothing wrong with what he said. As the two of them argued, a long passageway was built quickly. At this moment, in the source universe, a transparent passageway led straight to the source. The mentality gate trembled slightly. However, it did not cause too much commotion. In the source ground, someone suddenly looked toward a door and frowned slightly. He was not sure if he had sensed wrongly. Someone entered the source ground. Who entered the source ground? The commotion was too small. He suspected that he had sensed wrongly. However, earlier, the mentality gate did tremble slightly. At this moment, in the source ground, someone shouted softly, "Everyone, G has gone to suppress the celestial source. Everyone put in more effort. Do you really want to cause chaos in the source ground?" Without the emperor, The few of them had to share the burden of the emperor. As such, suppressing was harder than before. They could not afford to be distracted now. As soon as the words were spoken, there was a commotion everywhere. The emperors began to suppress one after another, waiting for the chaos in the source ground to subside. The arrow from Jean had a significant impact on the source ground. At the same time, in a place of endless darkness, in the void, a corpse floated. At this moment, the eyes of the corpse suddenly trembled. In the next moment, it opened its eyes and looked into the endless darkness. Who? Who came? Was it Tianchen? The corpse opened its eyes for a while. Very quickly, it felt the suction of the source ground. It closed its eyes again and continued to suppress the source ground. However, it let out a faint sigh. Jean, Heavenly Emperor Jean. That arrow pierced through the source ground and went straight to the core. It was not as simple as Fang Ping and the others thought. Even the 9 emperors did not know where the source ground's core was. It could not locate it. Jean found it. He found this place. That arrow brought too many surprises and shock to Heavenly Emperor. Jean, unbelievable. Chapter 1427. The tunnel was constructed. Fang Ping and the rest quickly followed the passageway, advancing all the way until they arrived at a beehive. Yes, honeycomb. It was similar to Wang Ruobing's source world. However, there were some differences. Some of the passages in Wang Ruobing's beehive had already been destroyed, causing her to consume a great deal of her life force. She had almost been devoured to death. As for Lin Zi's beehive, at this moment, there was a layer of thin membrane blocking those areas. It really is a spiritual seed. The moment Fang Ping landed, he confirmed everything. Lin Zi's source had really been altered by someone. This was old Zhang's first time here. He looked around and exclaimed, "There are at least tens of thousands of holes." Tens of thousands. This meant that tens of thousands of origin martial artists were being controlled. Of course, some people might not even open their origin Dao. However, once he reached rank 6 and the Sanjiao Gate appeared, he should be able to construct the origin path. How many rank 6 and above martial artists were there in the 3 realms? Tens of millions? There was a possibility. He had only stolen the control rights of a few tens of thousands of people. No wonder the Immortal Spring did not have much of a reaction. It was too little. For Seeds had only stolen a few 100,000 people. It was very normal for the Immortal Origin or the Heavenly Emperor to not be able to sense it. What now? Old Zhang looked at Fang Ping. Fang Ping said in a low voice, "Be careful. Find the passageway we're looking for and help the other party break through the door. However, as soon as we step into the passageway, we'll easily attract the attention of the people behind us. Try to be careful and help some people break through." Fang Ping continued, "We'll mainly look for the mentality of the human powerhouses, followed by Luan and the rest, then Hong Kuan and the rest. Fang Ping had not mentioned this before. Old Zhang asked solemnly, "You want to help them break the door?" Was he crazy? Fang Ping grinned. "What's wrong? You think I'm crazy? I'm not crazy. If these people had broken through 9, do you think they would surrender so easily? So easy to talk to? Let's wait and see. When the war starts, these people might even be more active than us. Of course, it's also possible that I'll burn myself, but I'm going to throw the 3 realms into chaos. We can't let them focus all their energy on the human race, on us." As Fang Ping said that, he carefully peeled open the membrane covering one of the holes. A moment later, a suction force came over. Fang Ping had expected this. A rich vitality gushed out. Soon, the hole returned to normal. Fang Ping probed with his mentality and sensed for a while. After a while, he shook his head and said, It's not a human. It seems to be a fellow from Grandmaster. I'm not too familiar with him. I'm not too familiar with him, and he's probably not that strong either. Even if Fong Ping broke the door, the other party might never be able to reach Broken 8. Not everyone's door needed to be broken, unless they had a chance of breaking through to the 8th level. Otherwise, even breaking through the door would be useless. That person would never be able to reach the door, and whether or not they broke through the door made no difference. Old Zhang, Big Cat, the two of you look around. You might not be able to find everything, but I suspect that the psychic seed stole the great Tao essences of some experts. The passageways of experts should all be here. Old Zhang asked cautiously, will it attract the other party's attention? It'll be fine as long as we're careful. Don't cause too much of a commotion. This is my first time here, so I don't have any experience. Furthermore, there's something wrong with Wang Ruobing's seed, so it'll be easier to attract attention. As they spoke, Fong Ping had already cut off the passageway that they came from earlier. He laughed and said, now that the passageway has been cut off, as long as we don't make a big commotion, they definitely won't find out. Old Zhang also heaved a sigh of relief. This was the best. He was really afraid that something would happen very soon. Fong Ping looked at the densely packed holes, his scalp tingling. Look quickly. After you're done looking, mark the people you know. We have to discuss who needs to break through the door, and who doesn't. The man and the cat both nodded sneakily, as if they were thieves. In reality, this was indeed stealing. It was very exciting. If the commotion was a little bigger, it might cause the true emperor to descend. Moreover, it would be his real body. That would be very dangerous. The source was not a single space. Many layers of space overlapped. Looking down, above the source, there were many black spots. The black spots were all huge cracks. On top of each huge black spot, there was a giant sitting, suppressing the source. At this moment, those cracks were all shaking. This was caused by the battle, and it had not calmed down yet. Just as Fong Ping and the others were peeking at the mentality passageway, in the void, in the central area, a wave of ripples swept over. Very soon, the shadows of giants appeared one after another. Qiong, why did you summon us again? Someone was dissatisfied. Many things had happened recently. It just so happened that their clones were killed. Now, everyone still had to suppress the riots in the source. The source was very dangerous. Some cracks would often appear and devour their mentality. Every time they gathered, it was actually dangerous. Of course, these people were also unwilling to let others near the area they were suppressing. Every time they gathered, they would rather run a little further than to gather in the area they were suppressing. The God Emperor Projection's expression did not change. He said calmly, previously there were some abnormalities in the source. Did anyone notice? Abnormalities? Someone was puzzled. The Beast Emperor said loudly, which day does the source not have abnormalities now? Qiong, what abnormalities are you talking about? The God Emperor was too lazy to explain. It was useless anyway. He continued, did anyone notice last time? Fong Ping has some true blood on him. Before the battle, he also opened up the source passageway. This means that he might have opened it before. Before this, when Ji Yi was suppressing the Vitality Gate, there were also a few abnormalities. Fong Ping might have come to the source before. This time, is Fong Ping unwilling to be left out and came to the source again? Qiong, are you scared? North Emperor joked. Let's not talk about whether Fong Ping can come to the source or not. Even if he can, would he dare to come now? He just killed our clones. Would he dare to come to the source now and court death? West Emperor chuckled. Don't underestimate Fong Ping. He might really come. Actually, I also felt some abnormalities earlier. It came from the gate of spiritual consciousness. As he said that, West Emperor laughed. Something happened to the gate of spiritual consciousness. Maybe someone broke into it. As soon as he said that, the God Emperor said softly, Ji suppresses the vitality gate, Chen suppresses the gate of spiritual consciousness, Xian suppresses the gate of life. Everyone looked at him, not quite understanding what he meant. The three gates were guarded by three emperors, Emperor Ji, West Emperor Chen, and North Emperor Xian. The three of them guarded the three gates. The God Emperor said lightly, in the past, there was a problem with the immortal source. After that, a lot of the immortal source's power seemed to have dissipated. The immortal source is connected to the three gates. The three gates and the immortal source are one. Last time, something happened to the vitality gate. This time, something happened to the gate of spiritual consciousness. Chen, don't you have anything to say? West Emperor looked dazed. He said gloomily, what does this have to do with me? How would I know? I'm only guarding the gate of spiritual consciousness. I'm not the master of the gate of spiritual consciousness. Besides, I wasn't here just now. The God Emperor said lightly, everyone has their own selfish motives. I can understand that. But now, the big picture is more important. There must have been some problems with the gate of spiritual consciousness in the past. I'm afraid everyone has some backup plans. I don't want to look into it, and I don't want to investigate anything. However, since there was a problem with the gate of spiritual consciousness, Fong Ping might have taken the opportunity to break into it. Everyone, it's better if you investigate it yourselves, lest something big happens. He was not clueless. There were some things that he knew. Someone was playing tricks. In fact, who did not play tricks? However, now Fong Ping might have entered the source. Although it was just a whim, after thinking about it, he suddenly felt that it was possible. He could not help but pay attention. Everyone did not respond. The God Emperor said again, if Fong Ping is really in the source again, aren't you afraid that he'll get more powerful after obtaining the opportunity? It's difficult for Fong Ping to catch up to me, but to catch up to everyone, it might not be that difficult. He's already broken 9. If he can get a lot of true blood and transform again, surpassing everyone in a day is not just a fantasy. Emperor West said disapprovingly, it's not that simple. How can there be so much true blood? I've been to the source 7 or 8 times. Forget true blood. I haven't even seen fake blood. The God Emperor looked at him and said lightly, Chen, no matter what you're thinking, getting out of here and no longer being a living dead is our goal. Do you really want Fong Ping to disturb the source and trap us for another 10,000 years? Now, do we still have 10,000 years to get out of here? No more. Emperor West said helplessly, you look like you're doubting me. Of course, I have to say a few words. I don't have so much energy to do other things. All these years, it's not easy for me to relax a little, but I don't have the energy to do it. There are only a few who have the ability to play tricks on the immortal source. If you want to doubt them, it has nothing to do with me. I'm not doubting you. I'm just reminding everyone, don't let Fong Ping succeed in the end. The God Emperor looked around. Even if it's not Fong Ping, it could be someone else who entered the source after breaking 9. They haven't taken root in their Tao and entered the source. Everyone must be vigilant. Now, we can't guard the 3 gates anymore. This is also a loophole that can be easily exploited by others. Over at the immortal source, 9th heaven had to guard against Fong Ping, and the others now. The source also had to suppress the chaos. Over at the 3 gates, breaking 8 clones meant being killed. Now, no one was willing to create 9 clones. It was easy to cause trouble. The God Emperor had to be more vigilant. Emperor West said impatiently, then let them investigate themselves. If there's a problem, he'll take responsibility for it himself. I have no interest in continuing to chat here. Previously, when 2 clones died, I was injured badly. Even now, it's difficult to suppress the power of the source. I still have to project myself here. If this goes on, I'm afraid I'll be destroyed by the destructive power of the source before the barrier breaks. As soon as he finished speaking, Emperor West's projection shattered with a rumble. After he left, the Beast Emperor said coldly, "Don't tell me this guy stole what he was guarding?" He was a little suspicious of Emperor West. The God Emperor said lightly, "I'm just afraid that it's not. I'm also afraid that Celeste is deliberately misleading the public." Misleading the public? Everyone chewed on the meaning of this. Emperor West was a wily old fox. Although he was not strong, he was very cunning. What was this guy helping someone hide? Who was he helping? The person who did it back then was still Fong Ping? What was he trying to do? He left. The God Emperor did not say much. Everyone do as you see fit. If you can't solve it, then force Fong Ping out and let us solve it. Spirit Emperor snorted coldly. It's hard to say whether there's a problem or not. Now, everyone is in danger because of Fong Ping. Cheong, you don't have the bearing you used to have. Bearing? The God Emperor chuckled. I'm neither human nor ghost. What bearing do I need? I'm not you. If Celestial Emperor wins, you can still live. What about us? Fong Ping causing trouble now is exactly what Celestial Emperor wants. It also saves us from causing trouble for Celestial Emperor. Fong Ping causing trouble now was in line with Celestial Emperor's interests. The 9 emperors were restrained by Fong Ping, which meant that they had no energy to deal with Celestial Emperor. But this was not what the God Emperor wanted to see. He did not want the 3 realms to be in chaos. Yet, the 3 realms was in a mess. Schemes, no matter how good a scheme was, it was just empty talk. With Fong Ping, who was not part of the scheme, many things had been messed up. Now, the God Emperor did not want the source land to be in chaos again. Spirit Emperor snorted. The phantom was broken. The others disappeared as well. Soon, there were only a few people left. The God Emperor said calmly, "Do, was it your doing?" Celestial Emperor Reverse, who was left, chuckled. "It wasn't me. When the source land was in trouble, I didn't intervene. Ji, Hao, Chun, and Hong were the suspects. Someone said quietly, "It wasn't me either." "Brother, don't talk nonsense." Celestial Emperor Reverse laughed. "How? Don't be humble. If there really is a problem, investigate it immediately to prevent the source land from being in chaos. Don't you know what Fong Ping is capable of? If he came unprepared last time, he must have come prepared this time. If he didn't make a big fuss, then he wouldn't be Fong Ping." "It wasn't me," Dong Huang said helplessly. "If it wasn't Brother Cheong, then it would be Chun and Ji." The God Emperor said lightly, "It really wasn't you? The first thing I thought of when something happened to the gate of spiritual consciousness was you." "Brother, you have wronged me." Emperor Dong Huang smiled bitterly. "This is not my doing. I merely stole some of the Tao of the celestial source. To be honest, this is not something that we should have. But brother, I once saw a baby girl at the dragon transformation, and she might have something to do with the celestial source. I thought it was brother's doing, was it not?" Dong Huang smiled. "I had my doubts then, but the dragon transformation came to me, and I didn't say much. I'm afraid Spirit also thought it was your doing." The God Emperor frowned slightly. "Baby girl, some of the vitality paths, smell, might not have been done perfectly. Some of the smell leaked and devoured vitality. I thought this baby girl would not live long and would self-destruct. But last time, I realized that this baby girl might not have died." Dong Huang smiled. "So, it really wasn't your doing? If Fong Ping entered the source land last time, and the gate of vitality shook, Then it must have been through this baby girl. This time. I really don't know. The god emperor frowned. After a while, he said lightly, "Since Brother House said it wasn't you, then I believe you. Stealing some of the source land's power might not be able to help us get out of trouble. It seems a little like the work of those few." Which few? The weak few. As strong as the god emperor and the others were, they knew that stealing a little was not very useful. Stealing a lot would be easily discovered by the celestial emperor. Then it was very likely that it was not them. Of course, it could not be ruled out that there was more than one power. It could even be the work of the same person. If Dong Huang said it was not him, the god emperor did not dare to believe it completely. He did not dwell on this. No matter who it is, investigate immediately. With that, the god emperor disappeared. Dong Huang smiled bitterly. Brother Do, it seems that Brother Chong still suspects me. I suspect it too. Celestial Emperor reverse grinned. You didn't say anything when the dragon found you. Now that you mention it, who knows if Brother Hao is a thief, crying thief to get rid of suspicion. Of course, I don't care about this. If Brother Hao really found something, it's better to solve it as soon as possible. Fang Ping has become a big problem. We have to be careful. Dong Huang sighed. It's not a small problem to give us headaches. Fang Ping has really grown to the point where he might be a threat to us. In Lin Zi's source land, Zhang Tao said excitedly, I found Idiot Li. Ironhead or Commander? Fang Ping asked. Zhang Tao said casually, Big Idiot. Oh, that would be Commander Li. Beside him, the cat was dumbfounded. It asked curiously, Who is Big Idiot? The one from Guardian King's family. Oh, the ash cat also understood and nodded. So Second Dumb is a muscular man. Fang Ping chuckled. Old Zhang laughed too. Don't give others nicknames. You guys gave them too. The cat was innocent. You guys gave them nicknames too. Fang Ping smiled. You're the first person in the 3 realms to give people nicknames. We learned it from you. The cat thought about it and felt a little embarrassed. Was that so? It seemed so. The cat did not dwell on it anymore. Soon it said happily, Big dogs, I found big dogs. Fang Ping smiled too. I found it here too. Jiang Hao's. They found many familiar people's paths of mentality one after another. However, after searching for a while, Fang Ping said regretfully, I don't think there's yours, old Zhang. I don't know if it's gone after you took it last time. It's best if it's gone. Old Zhang was not regretful. He smiled. My life gate has been broken. The vitality gate will be broken soon. There's no hurry for the mentality gate. He broke the life gate first. This had something to do with the large amount of vitality that Fang Ping brought back. The gate of qi and blood was his main cultivation. Old Zhang's strength had improved extremely quickly recently. It had something to do with the human's strength. He was not too worried. As they were talking, Fang Ping's eyes moved. The cat also said quickly, There seems to be movement. Hide quickly. As he said that, the cat dug downwards with familiarity. The last time he escaped from Wang Ruobing's origin, he dug a hole and ran away. Now, the cat had learned to hide first. Fang Ping did not force it this time. Soon, Fang Ping followed suit and hid. Old Zhang was not careless either, burrowing in instantly. 2 people, and a cat hid in the ground below in the blink of an eye. The land in this place was somewhat similar to the origin land. Fang Ping even laid a shallow layer of origin land on top. He restrained his aura and hid in the pit with old Zhang and the others without moving. Not long after they hid inside, a vast wave of psychic energy quickly swept over them. A mechanical voice sounded. Fang Ping, since you're here, why don't we talk? The mentality continued to sweep. This place can help some human powerhouses break the gate of spiritual consciousness. However, once the gate is broken, it will easily attract the attention of others. Why don't we work together? I'll lend you a hand. It'll be easier for others to break the gate. Underground, Fong Ping did not say a word. Old Zhang did not move either. The cat tilted its head and looked at them strangely. Working together? Were they not going to talk about working together? Did the fake human emperor not come to talk about working together? Fong Ping grabbed its neck with his palm, motioning it not to move. Very quickly, his mentality brushed past. He sighed. Did he really not come? As he said that, the vast mentality disappeared. In the next moment, when the cat was about to jump out, Fong Ping grabbed it. Old Zhang also grabbed its tail and pinched its mouth, not letting it speak. The cat felt wronged. What was it doing now? It did not know what was going on. After a while, another mentality brushed past. The voice sounded again. Fong Ping, I'm very sincere. I also want to be free and get rid of the trouble of the origin land. There are a few ways to get rid of the trouble of the origin land. First, find someone from the three realms to prove their Tao. Second, create a small origin land like this one and replace it. Third, find another powerhouse to replace it. For example, another emperor. The last one is the simplest and the most difficult. However, if you and I work together, I can get out of this predicament through the third option. Kill an emperor and help me get out of this predicament. When I get out of this predicament, an emperor will die and the origin land will be in chaos. At that time, both you and I will benefit. Fong Ping, don't you want to think about it? Fong Ping still did not move. It was a very tempting suggestion. The key was, you should King expose your identity. At this point, even the voice was fake. Your mentality was hidden and not obvious. It would be strange if I believed you. The other party was probably not sure that I was here. That was why he was testing me. Very quickly, the mentality disappeared again. The cat felt that it could speak this time. At this time, Old Zhang and Fong Ping looked at each other and nodded slightly. Very quickly, the two of them continued digging downwards. Fong Ping quickly restored the soil above and dived down with the cat. After a while, there was a rumble. The soil above exploded. The voice sounded a little dissatisfied. Fong Ping, you guys are here. The passageway has been touched. Do you really think I can't tell? Since you're here, come out and talk. Otherwise, I'll seal this place and reveal this place to others. You won't be able to escape. Underground, the cat turned its head to look at Fong Ping, blinking. Should he go out? Fong Ping's big hand pinched its head. Don't move. Even if this person knew that he was here, could he guarantee that he was still here? He might not be sure. Because he was not sure, he would test again and again. If he had the guts, he could continue to investigate. It would not benefit the other party if he messed up this place. If the commotion was too big and exposed, it would be even more troublesome. This time was different from the last time. Last time, there was no emperor in the source land. This time, everyone was in the source land. Just like the previous person, sealing the origin directly would cause too big a commotion and might attract other people's attention. Mentality swept again and again, again and again. Fong Ping and Old Zhang also changed places after each shot. They did not stay in the same place. They continued to dig and restore. As expected, very soon, mentality swept over the place where they were staying. Again and again. Fong Ping and Old Zhang changed hiding places again and again. It was all an old trick. Both of them were familiar with these tricks. Although the emperor had lived for a long time, his knowledge was limited. It was not as unfathomable as imagined, hiding in one place for tens of thousands of years. How could there be so many tricks? Just like that, they were in a stalemate for a while. The voice sounded again, sighing. It seems like you've really left. Did you go to other places? In the source land? That's troublesome, but it's also everyone's trouble. After saying that, the mentality disappeared again. Fang Ping and Old Zhang still did not go out, continuing to endure. Fang Ping did not believe that the other party had left. Even if he had really left, he still had to endure for a while. Otherwise, he would be discovered the moment he came, and many plans could not be carried out. Just like that, they waited for a while. The cat's tail swayed, a little depressed. It had been a long time. Out of these two, one was grabbing its tail, pinching its mouth, and the other was pinching its head. It was very uncomfortable. Okay, Fang Ping ignored it and sent a voice transmission. Has he left? I'm not sure. Who is it? Did you sense it? Mentality is very strong, but it's still hard to judge. Both of them talked for a while, but it was still hard to determine who it was. At this moment, the cat suddenly sent a voice transmission through mentality. Ask me. I recognize him. It's Old Man West. Fang Ping was stunned for a moment. Emperor West. He knew that Emperor West's mentality was strong, but to be honest, he did not suspect Emperor West. It was not just Fang Ping. Before this, the Emperor God, and the others could not be sure, but in the end, they locked their sights on Dong Huang, and the others, even the Emperor, and the Emperor, Earthly Emperor, who were not here. As for Emperor West, who was the most suspicious, they did not suspect much. Emperor West, who guarded the gate of spiritual consciousness, took the initiative to mention that he had discovered something unusual. In addition, he was the one who guarded the gate of spiritual consciousness, embezzlement. They also felt that it was too obvious. But now, the cat said that it recognized him. It was Emperor West. Fang Ping was stunned for a moment and hurriedly sent a voice transmission. Are you sure? Yes, it's him. The cat was a little proud, sending a voice transmission. I know Old Man West's smell. I can smell it with one sniff. If I didn't smell it the first time, I'll be able to after a few more times. Emperor West's mentality swept more than once. This cat's nose was more sensitive than the heavenly dog's. That day, the Tao tree was separated by a mystic realm, but it could smell it. Fang Ping raised his eyebrows. Not bad. The father of celestial polarity was somewhat beyond his expectations. Fang Ping asked quickly, Have you found celestial polarity's gate of spirit? Old Zhang said immediately, I found it. Fang Ping's eyes flickered. Is it to let my son get rid of the immortal source, or does he want to trick my son as well? This old guy, last time, he turned his limbs into power and integrated it to celestial polarity. I didn't expect him to still have a trick up his sleeve, pretending to be a good person. I didn't expect him to trick Emperor Spirit's niece. It seems like he's not a good person either. Old Zhang rolled his eyes. Nonsense! Were there good people among the emperors? Who was not cruel and merciless? If they were really good people, they would not become emperors. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.